They can be in this at any moment. They just gotta up their mental game, let their talent speak.
Amazing placement. What a shot.
That was a Yahtzee overhead.
Aspect of mental toughness here that's just different.
I like the body language of all four players.
Oh, look at that shot! Great hands from Kiro.
Hello and welcome to the 2023-2024 ATPA Tour presented by Volley. We are live from the Short Hills Club in Short Hills, New Jersey, bringing you the 2024 Short Hills Grand Prix, which is the 13th stop on the 23-24 APTA Tour, with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors, Volley and Fusion, and local sponsors. Our lead sponsor is Corian. Our platinum sponsors, Maplewood Crest Ford, New Jersey Men's Platform Tennis Association. Our gold sponsors, Spiro, Harrison, and Nelson, Paper Ribbon and Wrap, New Jersey Flex League, and our silver sponsors, Club Pilates and Smith Chiropractic. I'm Guy Moore, along with Brad Easterbrook and Patty Hogan. Welcome to the men's finals at the Short Hill Club.
Well, thank you very much, Guy. Patty, welcome as well. All right, so let's take a quick look just at the players there, and then we'll do kind of the road to the finals with everybody there. Right there is Graham McNerney in the red and the headband there, and his partner, Mark Powers, an unseeded team. But certainly I wouldn't call any of their wins upsets. And on the other side of the court, we have there Johan Randt on the bottom left of your screen, or right across there in the blue top with the red sleeves. And his partner in the gray hoodie, Stephen Mitchell, and that's our number one seeds. We'll take a quick look here at the road to the finals. Jake, our producer Jake, throw that up there. So we got Durant and Mitchell. You know, kind of lost a set there to Boston Rams. Good match, but generally in control. And we'll talk about kind of their road there because the guy just called that last match they had in their semifinals. Take a quick look here at how Powers and McNerney got there. And you know, through there, pretty routine, straight up until their just a regular routine 4-hour semifinal where they played from about 9 to 1 o'clock. First set was 6-1, but then they win 6-3, 6-4. So must have been just a heck of a grind out there. There you hear Mark Bliss, our umpire.
This is an APTA Grand Prix event, the last before the final, before nationals. This match is the men's finals, featuring the team on my left, Johan Durant from Wayland, Massachusetts, his partner Stephen Mitchell from Natick, Massachusetts. On my right, from Chicago, Illinois, Graham McNerney, his partner Mark Powers from New York, New York. This match is a best 2 out of 3 tie-break sets.
All right, so there's Mark Bliss in the chair. Guy, why don't you go in? There he goes. It's got more. All right. Talk about the semifinals that you just called.
Elected to receive.
With, you know, Durant and Mitchell. You said they started slow in the first set and then sort of turned it on to a second gear in the second?
Well, you know, I've been thinking about it, Brad. You know, when I say start slow, they just played a very traditional paddle match, a lot of neutralizing overheads.
Do me a favor and put the clothing either on the deck behind me. Just you guys are too fast. I don't want anybody stepping on it.
Yeah, that's a great call there by umpire Bliss. You know, all these guys have the opportunity to cut the ball into the side wires. They can't really have any clothing or anything inside there. It's all got to be outside the cage.
The old days when I used to have to stand there and I get stepped on. You know, I know that guys are fast enough. So.
Well, it's good to have the blister, Mark Bliss, in the chair up there. He's in command. But going back to your question, Brad, about Durant Mitchell's semi, they played a very controlled first set, and the second set was almost the opposite. Johan Durant was Durant. closing, moving, speeding up the point with overheads and rollers. He did bring out the big overhead 3 times during that match. 2 for 3 points they won. They probably should have won 3 for 3. I'd like to see him control the pace and speed with that overhead even more because it's such a threat. But, you know, I thought about it, and, you know, you hate to say these guys are just great front runners, but I mean, that match had all the indications that that's exactly what they are. I mean, they got up a set, and the tiebreaker, by the way, was 12-10, and both teams had set points. So they just completely controlled the second set and
Players
the tempo,
are ready.
which is
Mr.
what it's all
Mitchell to
about.
serve. Ready? Play.
All right, so we're underway. Stephen Mitchell serving there with his partner Johan Durant in blue. Right away to a cutter.
And it'll be interesting here too, Patty and Brad, if they have the same template. Do they start slow and just hit their spots? Or do they play a little quicker?
And Durant Mitchell have been off the court for a couple of hours. Obviously, McNerney and Powers in that 4-hour win
15
over
all.
tournament number 2 seeds Fraser Morgan. They were out there a long time. I talked to Powers when he was out stretching before this match. Doesn't faze him. He's you know, he's a warrior out here, a ton of talent, and he said the match wasn't a
30,
super
15.
physical match for them, so they feel great mentally and physically going into the final.
Ooh, couple missed drives there from Powers, but these guys are going to take that
40,
underhand
15.
serve early and strike it hard, and we've seen that so far. They missed a couple here, but Powers is going to try to speed that thing up and give him a ball that's difficult to deal with.
And the Short Hills Club is great. I mean, they've run this tournament for so many years, and they just do it better and better every year. You know, these guys go in, get a good shower, they get the game face back on, and they're out here. I expect McNerney and Powers to get into their mode pretty quick.
Guy, you
Yeah,
believe that Mitchell and Durant
Game
are
Durant Mitchell.
better when they
lead
play a
1
little
game
bit
to love,
faster?
First set.
Because you
Yes.
think when they go into slowdown mode, you think it takes away some of their weapons.
I think the biggest weapon, and Stephen Mitchell is an unbelievable player, but I think that the range of Durant to cover the court and play quick and fast is, I mean, they complement each other so great. And I just like to see him doing what he does best a lot more.
Love.
I think that
But
was
the-
the shortest point that Powers and McNerney played all tournament right there. 2 shots.
All.
Yeah, right. Patty and Brad, you know, the way I look at it is this, just to kind of keep it simple, is there's some players in the game that can take over a match. And I think that if you're the one that can do that,
30, 15.
why not have that influence a lot more often?
Yeah, I think it's a great point, you know, Guy. I think it's also like one of the things that was part of Durant's development. He was, at one time, he was just trying to end points all the time. But now he's learned to play it slow and speed it up. The key now is mixing it up when he, you know, and being intentional about when he does it. And I think they probably started slow in that first set, probably intentionally, just to feel their way into it. And then when they had it ahead, they just probably started dialing it up to that whole next gear. But you're absolutely right. He's got the ability to finish. When he speeds it up and he baits you into hitting that drive off the screen and closes the net and then hits an offensive volley behind you, it's stuff that a lot of guys cannot do.
Yeah, and you and I, Brad and Patty, have talked about this concept and would be a little tricky to teach more at the club level, but I do think there's some validity to it. You know, these guys volley short to pull people in and get into those quick hands exchanges. My hands are better than yours. I'm going to come out on top of those exchanges. That is a
Look at those volleys.
fantastic get by Stephen Mitchell. And he's just as solid as they come. And you notice too, Patty and Brad, when you're covering that much court and you move up there.
30 all.
He has the ability, much like Jared Palmer did, to have very fast feet but very slow hands, which is not easy to do.
You're going to see Powers do that more often not, especially in that deuce court when he's facing the Randt return, where he'll serve, and he hits a very challenging serve, but he'll sort of halfway come in, and if it's in front of him easy, he'll play it as a half volley or a volley, and if it's anything with pace or behind, he's going to let it go to the screen and play the screen drive back. He'll kind of play it in between and feel what he can do with it.
And McNerney does a great job of mixing his lobs up and lobbing to like that kind of that gray area right there and just pecking away like that. You know, Durant's off the net
40,
there. And
30.
Graham has no intention of winning the point with that shot, but it makes his next lob so much better.
Oh, he hesitated for a second there, McNerney. Great shot there from Durant, sticking it.
I think he thought it was going to be out, but
Advantage McNerney Powers.
and this is kind of what happened in the first set with Humphreys. Koenig is with some loose mistakes from Mitchell and Durant, and they just win in that second set. They went in lockdown mode and stopped missing. It wasn't the difficult balls they missed. It was the ones that you would expect to be more routine. But once they locked that down, it was a pretty quick set.
Durant Mitchell still number one in the sport. Haven't played as many tournaments this season, and they were the winners of this event last year. So they're looking for another title.
They're looking for their first title of this year too.
First one of the year, exactly, Brad. It's weird. We've been through this, our 13th event on the 16-stop APTA Tour, and Durant Mitchell have not won an event yet. Yeah,
it's actually a little shocking. 2 finals and a semifinal, but no wins yet. You see Powers still just attacking that half serve, taking it early hard and making him run. I'm making him work, but he's missed him right now.
And I was just going to say that I like that second game that McNerney and Powers played. It lets them kind of get into the match and not feel like they just played a 4-hour battle.
30-15.
You kind of forget about that 4-hour match quickly once you're into the next match and have a long game. And Brad, you and I, before we went on air, we're talking about the impact a 4-hour match has. It's got to have some type of impact. But with paddle, I do believe, I mean, these guys are all in great shape. I believe it's probably a lot more mental than physical, being out there for 4 hours and thinking about where you're hitting every ball and the communication and the long points. You don't have a 4-hour match unless there's a lot of lobbing and movement. It just doesn't happen.
I thought it was interesting, Brad, where when Powers was saying he didn't realize it was a 4-hour match. That's how much he's just so happy to be out on the court competing, and the longer it goes on, I don't think that phases Mark Powers in the least. And we know it doesn't phase Graham McNerney.
40-15.
And I do like the net scheme with Johan. hitting more of the overheads just because, and I said this in the stream before, Stephen Mitchell's got a great overhead. He doesn't leave anything out there that's going to hurt that team, but the value of someone having one of the biggest shots in the game in terms of pace, if they want to hit it, even if it's only 3 times a match, which it was in the last match, it's still a threat.
Yeah, we talk about teams wanting to slow it down
40,
against
30.
Randt and Mitchell. And clearly right now, Mark Powers, McNerney, they're not looking to do that. Powers is looking to attack his forehand whenever he can. So he goes to the overhand there.
Game Durant, Mitchell.
Smart move.
Lead 2-1 first set.
Yeah, I actually like what Powers is doing a lot. And those forehands that he missed that whole game, so what? I mean, he'll clean those up.
I agree.
I mean, his he just got to cover the ball a little bit more, and not a big deal. I mean, and to be honest, the temperature's a little different than it was this morning. Certainly when they started playing 10 hours ago. And, being here in the afternoon, I mean, the ball's playing a little bit more jumpy and sitting up, and he'll figure that out. So, Patty and Brad, so far, tempo-wise, who does this match favor? I mean, obviously it's early and there's been a couple mistakes, but what do you guys think?
Go for it, Brad.
To me, I think both teams are just playing the game they're looking to play right now. I don't think it actually favors either one of these.
I agree.
I think Powers, if he gets his return going, he's missed a few early now, but he's actually able to put enough on it. And in terms of being able to spot the forehand, these guys, Powers and McNerney, can take the net as well as any other team out there. And that's one of the keys to victory against these guys. So I think not backing down unless they just can't find the range, on the shots they're looking at. This is exactly what he wants to do right there. So I don't know what are your thoughts, Patty?
That overhit's interesting. I mean, he hit it perfectly to Mark Powers, right into his wheelhouse. Powers just hit another drive through the middle. They let it go through, transition game. My question is, would Durant Mitchell rather be at the net in this match, or would they rather be playing more baseline points?
Interesting.
That's a good point. I think they'd always want to be at the net. But I think Powers and McNerney actually have the ability to take the net well enough from them, to stop them from just camping out there and being there the whole time.
Yeah, the two big shots that have to be eliminated from an offensive perspective, unless they want to create it, is McNerney's forehand off the backside, because that's a big shot. He loves to wait on that. He's not going to hurt you as much with an off-pace ball that he's driving. It's an offensive screen drive, which he sits on over there, and he does a great job of it. And hitting a ball to Mark Powers' forehand without it going to the screen is going to cause a lot of problems. So, what about McNerney and Powers hitting overheads? McNerney hitting more or Powers hitting more?
Powers was... go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, go ahead, Pat. No, Patty, you're on.
Powers was saying to me...
15 all.
He loves volleying. He loves being close to the net, and he says with the height of McNerney over there, Powers feels like he has a tremendous amount of confidence on his volleys because he knows he can close in, cut off any ball that he really gets a good look at, and he can intercept that shot. But if they throw up a lob, he said Graham can cover 99% of the court. So Powers loves it with Graham hitting more of the overheads, which I found interesting yesterday when I saw them play the quarters. I mean, I just saw the Powers overhead, and he can hit that snap roller, he can slash, he can do it all, obviously. So it's interesting, but he loves having Brad do a lot of the overhead work. I mean, not you, Brad. He loves having you do a lot of the overheads, but But in this match,
Yeah.
you're not here, Brad, so he's going with McNerney for the overhead
that's-
coverage.
It's a wise choice given that I'm not there and given that I'm not going to close back in anymore anyway, so I'll be taking the overheads. But no, but what they have with this team, with Powers and McNerney, is actually just the ability to be versatile. You know, when he played with John Hughes in the past, more often than not, Powers would be tighter to the net, and Hughes would be hitting more of the overheads, because Powers really is a very good stick volleyer. Like, he can get right on top of the net and close down offense from other teams, and made a difference. And John Hughes had a great cut overhead, so they worked it more that way. With here, it can work both ways. I still think, you know, because McNerney can sit right on top of that net too and shut down volleys as well. So these guys have the ability to be completely versatile with that play. But I do agree with you, Patty. I think in general we'll probably see McNerney take more overheads, although they can easily switch it up.
And what just happened in the previous 4 or 5 balls is some incredible volleys by Johan and Steven. I mean, first of all, they gave McNerney the look he wanted off the backside, and they gave Powers the look he wanted with that forehand. But Randt just hit a couple volleys from his shoelaces, forehand volleys too, that those aren't easy volleys to make. And this set to begin looked very similar to the set with Chris Humphreys and Felipe Hoses-Connick, for sure.
Yeah, but Powers and McNerney are doing a lot of attacking. It's kind of mid-pace attacking right now, but I think that was actually the point of Powers taking those early returns really hard. He's looking to actually, because you make a great point, Guy, you know, Randt and Mitchell, they're great volleyers. They're not good volleyers. They're great volleyers. So the only way to get them to miss is actually hit a shot with enough force or get them out of position enough where they have to stretch a little bit. And I think that's the idea. But great long point there for Randt and Mitchell.
And I will say this as well, Patty and Brad, that medium pace drives,
15,
not only
40.
against these two teams, just in general. You know, we saw it in Detroit last weekend with a lot of the drop volleys that were hit in the finals. If you're not going to, with as good as the hands that are in the players today, both on the women's and men's side, if you're not going to throttle the ball when someone's on top of the net, you better be lobbing them. Otherwise, you're going to be scrambling. Just like the forehand that McNerney just missed. I mean, that was Johan Randt was standing there anyway, so whether he made it or not didn't matter. Hey, Brad and Patty, who's going to win the Super Bowl, Taylor Swift or the 49ers?
Well, Taylor Swift she's already won. She's got great coverage, and actually I'm for one. I'm all for their relationship. It doesn't bother me at all. Some people it seems to bother them, but I think it's a great game. Looking forward to a good Super Bowl.
I haven't decided yet, Guy. I'm still on paddle. Super Bowl warm-up. Watching this.
So that last point is what I like to see more from Randt and Mitchell. You know, the transition and movement.
And we just talked about putting some force on a shot, and Steven Mitchell, who has amazing hands, just took it hard in the thigh there from Powers on an early forehand.
Yeah, that the ball cannot be hit off the deck to Powers. He's the zero backswing, and the way he snaps that is, for anyone, doesn't matter how good your hands are, it's going to put you at best neutral.
No, you're lucky if you're neutral.
Right. And you're just neutral so you don't get hit like Mitchell just did.
Yeah. Yeah, what's unique about his forehand too is actually he can spin it and hit it hard from the same sort of exact same setup, and the way he's going to release it. So it's very hard to read it.
Yeah, with that Western grip, I mean, he just generates so much spin and RPMs, and the paddle head speed is just incredible.
Yeah, he's playing a lot of those backhand chips, really trying to keep that ball down.
15 all.
The backhand chip hasn't been effective yet.
Yep. Yep. Hit coming. Help.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Brad. I think that
Yep.
sometimes it's easier to chip it than lob it, for whatever the reason. But with his quick, Mitchell and Randt close the net, probably not going to be the percentages you want.
All right, just stellar
30,
volleying
15.
from Randt and Mitchell, and giving up no points right now, playing relatively error-free. Oh, there's another thunder from Powers. Yeah, let's make quick work of that. Huge forehand through the middle, cutter into the
30
snowboard.
all.
Next.
That's why I like the Powers overhead. I do love when he's player to the left because I feel like he can put. He's got a little bit more variety in his spins with his overheads than what we typically see from McNerney.
You know, too, Patty. Interesting you say that. I think, and it's all based on partnerships too. But McNerney used to spin the ball a lot more than he does now. Earlier in his career, he just dials in now and just picks his spot. You know, as a team and as a strategy. But he used to spin most of his overheads and fairly effectively.
Well, he hit a lot of those down-up overheads. He would kind of bounce up in the air, bounce off the deck, and go down up. You know, I remember early in his playing days when he came on the scene, he was really effective with that shot as well. It takes a lot of energy to put a lot of spin on a lot of overheads.
You are so correct, and it's. I mean, think about who McNerney played with in Chicago. Obviously, they won that tournament.
Wanaraya.
Yep. You know, and I think a big part of that success was they had a great plan at the net, and Juan obviously loves to spin balls, and McNerney did his thing and hit that down at overhead and cut a lot of balls off. McNerney also has, we'll see it at some point, one of the best forehand volleys where he hits almost behind his body. He's just able to cover it when he's at the net. So Wanaraya hitting overhead.
I think he got hit there.
30, 40.
Yeah. So Powers tags him again. That's 2 hits on Mitchell, and you can see why the last match might have been a 4-hour affair. These guys are just playing so solid. They're not missing any balls to Randt and Mitchell's.
Don't you both think that the shot that's hurting them the most so far is the Powers forehand that doesn't go to the screen? I mean, it's either got to go to the screen or it's got to go to the side back.
Yeah, they have to be very careful with the middle of the court. You can see they're moving their reset now out to the sideline there, which is a better spot for it. And then they.
Yeah, Powers is just tweaking over there, pinching the side. You see him every time you see him moving to his left. So if they hit a loose ball, you see it again there. If they hit a loose ball, he's on top of it.
All right, there's a left overhead, a left lob, a right lob. Does a great job, McNerney, pushing the overheads to different spots. He's going to go to the left here. Yep.
Yeah, I like that reset spot a lot better than Powers' forehand.
It's not a reset if it's going to his forehand.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it's a hammer.
And
True.
we've seen Durant do that over the years, though. He'll hit the shot. He'll feed the ball to the opponent's best shot on purpose. And just be like, okay, take your shot, because I can go volley that.
That must be a nice feeling, right?
No, it's a good point, Patty. He does do that. There are levels with it, though. You know, Stephen Mitchell, how many times do you see him just get plugged in the thigh with a ball because just the pace coming off of the forehand there is different. It's a good point for both teams. You know, they're just balanced just right now, dialed in. Durant and Mitchell are just playing solid.
I love that one more lob by McNerney there, especially down the line because Mitchell was in a little trouble in the backhand overhead and Durant had to close.
Yeah, both teams recognizing the importance is a big break point here for Powers used to try to get this thing back on serve. That's going to get ripped.
Yeah, that's the one that they have to eliminate that shot. That shot's got to be eliminated.
They played it perfectly on the transition back, though, for Mitchell.
Yeah, and you see the ball went through and, you know, McNerney and Powers just stayed back on the baseline. They didn't even give it a second thought to follow that ball up to the net.
Yeah, when you hit it that hard, you would stay back because it's an easy screen drive for your opponent. He's trying to actually hit it more at him. He hopes they volley it when he hits it that hard. Your help call from Powers. Great close. He's really reading these screens and they get the error. And it all happens because Durant anticipates the Powers drive and closes in and hits the volley behind McNerney right away.
Yeah, when he sees moving quickly or the ball moving quickly, it's a great read to move in, and that's what I think Durant does best when he's closing with the range and stuffing volleys or hitting balls behind his opponent.
Great lob spot there for McNerney right in between the players. Pushing the ball the way you want to make the right-handed teams move back into their right. Hard for them to cut it from that position and pulls them out of the way.
There's a little Federer backhand from Durant. Little flick. Different look, I was going to say. Well, they almost switched there, but I mean, they're different sides here. See if they stay as the point goes on.
There goes McNerney with the quick shutdown volleys, anticipating well.
Well, that's why I love Powers hitting, you know, more overheads than McNerney. He can close with a half a step and he's on top of the net, and there's nowhere for Durant to go with that drive.
Yeah, McNerney's very textbook. He's excellent at closing off. That's why I said they can be very versatile with the way they do this. Either one of these guys can close it off, but you're right. McNerney at 6'4" is, you know, very intimidating, quick, right up there, and he leads with his paddle right out in front of him. There's no way he ever gets it behind him.
Yeah, McNerney with his height too, he's just able like that, just to neutralize so easily. I like the combination. I like Powers hitting the overhead and McNerney there. I like that a lot. I think that's Like there, you saw how low McNerney let that drop to push it back deep, going beyond the service line.
I tell you, Randt and Mitchell are locked in here. This has been a fantastic match. Just very few errors, just quality play above the board, and it's coming down to who's just kind of like going for their offense with the other guy can close it off or not. It's just been excellent stuff. What a point.
I was just going to say, too, Brett,
McNerney Powers.
Their previous match came down in the first set to who missed drives when they shouldn't have, kind of like that. That's what it came down to. It was the right look, but, you know, it's just execution, which is fine. I mean, big difference between making technical and tactical mistakes, but you get the look you want and you miss, so what? You'll stop missing.
Oh, look at these guys transitioning. Perfect transition play.
Powers.
And Mitchell just reaches for that last ball.
First set.
All right, it's time to talk about one of our great sponsors, Volley. And Volley is a proud sponsor of the APTA. As the first AI-enabled training experience, Volley modernizes racket sports by delivering the on-demand dynamic system for live play training and better workouts. Volley creates a community to connect pros and players while giving users personalized performance insights to track progress and customize their practice. Ask your pro about a Volley lesson today, and for more information, visit getvolley.com. So that's some amazing play for 5 games.
Do you guys think this match ends before the Super Bowl starts?
Patty, you could probably go tell them that there's a hard stop at 6:30.
Hard stop at 6:30. Mine might be more like 4:30. I gotta cook.
That's right.
15 love.
You guys in the 2023-24 season, the APTA Cup men's standing, Jose Salazar wasn't able to play today's event. He was on top of the board. He had accumulated 3,450 points. Tyler Frazier was in second place before this. Regalado was third, and Graham McNerney, with his appearance here in the finals, surely will go up this list today. Adam Morgan's next, Juan Araya, Chris Humphreys, and Guillermo Nunez.
Missed that one wide. Quick cross-court overhead can lead to some down-the-line winners there, but he doesn't get that one. He just kind of reached at that one.
15.
Brad, I'm going to put you on the spot. Are you ready?
I'm ready, Patty. Bring it.
Is it more important for one team here to win that first set versus the other in terms of, you know, if Durant Mitchell win the first set, does that impact Powers and McNerney at all versus if Powers and McNerney win the first set? What does that do to Durant Mitchell?
I guess I look at it two ways. The answer to me is it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But the margin for difference in winning usually against Randt Mitchell is so small that it's important for you to get the set. Strangely, they haven't had a win yet this season, so I'm going to kind of even it up, you know, for Randt Mitchell. I think this means something to them out here today, you know. But I don't think it matters much at all. What do you think, Guy?
I've said it over and over again. I think the quicker, faster pace favors Durant Mitchell. They can control the tempo better when they're playing faster. So,
Game McNerney Powers. Games are 3-all. First set.
The slower the match goes, I think the less it favors Durant Mitchell. I think the quicker it goes, the more it favors him for sure. But to answer Patty's question, I think you're talking about 3-time national champions. I mean, winning the first set is probably a lot more important than losing it against him. So I also, from watching the last match and thinking about it, they were a completely different team in the second set against Chris Humphries, because they played to the tempo where Randt was blitzing and moving and volleying and using his range and just like that. And, really, really controlled the outcome of that set without much effort. And I don't want to call McNerney a role player here, but he is so good at lobbing the ball to and just doesn't give you much. Playing that side of the court, especially against two righties. The two righties is so much easier to play the ad court from an overhead perspective, but McNerney doesn't press.
15 all.
He waits for the right moment to attack, and I like the fact that he's putting more spin on that forehand in terms of a return. But like that's a good example. He's completely hitting that lob and move it over to more Powers like that.
Wow.
This is awesome.
Yeah, this is incredible stuff. The level's been extremely high. Oftentimes we talk about the giveaways. There's just been very few. I mean, there's been some misses, but not giveaways. First cutter of the match, really.
McNerney, phenomenal. Back-to-back shots there.
15-30.
And that's what, I don't want to say surprise you, but McNerney is very good at doing what he just did. His hands are so quiet and out in front, and
15-40.
But
All right, moment here for Powers and McNerney.
Right, and McNerney, the way he got out of the way of that other overhead that came at him, had his paddle down low. I mean, even that was an incredible pickup.
especially for a tall guy, right, Patty? I mean, just move, calm.
Game McNerney Powers. They lead 4-3, first set. New ball.
And again, you'll see on this replay who's getting, that's just a great move by McNerney, but his forehand is causing a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and you see how in that play where, I said before how Johan, he'll go after his opponent's best shot and just kind of engage in that kind of a battle, and you could see Powers the same thing. He loves that. Each of them thrives on that.
Yeah, for sure, but Powers' forehand is the difference in this match, even though there's not much of a difference right now. I mean, 4-3, but still, his forehand is the difference.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the difference really is there's just a little momentum now from Powers McNerney being down 3-1. So, chance here to extend this lead here. McNerney to serve. He got broken the last time. That's how they got down 3-1. A couple of huge returns. Now, McNerney's serve isn't bad. It comes in high. Powers actually hits a very challenging serve. Like, it's actually, he has a real leg drive on it. McNerney kind of flows into it, but he's got such a good volley behind it. He's still able to get a great shot there from Randt. I think Powers thought that was going to hit the net. Maybe it did.
So I'm Patty and Brad. I'm going to ask you this right now: should McNerney and Powers stay back? Because Powers' forehand is lighting it up, and I know we talked about Durant and Mitchell wanting the net. There's another example of it. I'm just
Above 30.
throwing it out there.
It's an interesting question.
Not as, by the way, not as a I'm giving up the net, but as, hey, we're winning a lot of points from the baseline. I mean, you're seeing it right here develop right in front of
Above
us.
40.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting thought process. I think the key for them is
Game Durant, Mitchell. Game
like there we had
first set.
2 stab volleys from Powers there. The key is to give up the net when they don't have a volley they can, comfortably make, and don't be afraid to give it up. But I don't think they should be giving up the net necessarily.
Love 15.
Yeah, but what are my question for both of you, right, is what are they giving up? Powers' forehand is dictating the match, and he can only hit that from the baseline. It's just a kind of a different thought, right? It's hard to see sometimes when you're playing. I mean, we've all done it, and we say, oh, yeah, I want to be at the net for no other reason than just from a tactical perspective. But the biggest difference in this match to me is Powers' forehand, and he's getting those looks from the baseline, obviously.
Well, you're absolutely right. There's no question. I don't know that they've had a lack of success at the net. They certainly did in that last game. But you're right. And what you're talking about is more staying back on purpose because he's doing so well with the forehand and not just giving up the net, but actually more along the lines of stay with the maximum strength and the success you're having in the backcourt. Yeah,
for sure. And at this point in the match, when they did that much, I mean, they were so successful in the previous game. To stay back and keep that momentum going is huge.
Yeah, right. The right hand, great shot there. Nice waterfall. And yeah, when you place it in that framework, it makes complete sense, Guy.
It was interesting. Before that game, McNerney took the most time of the 4 guys on the court to start, and then he had not as fine a serving game there. It was a weak serving game, obviously, which was very funny. It was very fast, out of his tempo. That was very unlike McNerney in that entire game, how fast it went.
Agreed.
Yeah, 2 faults, and then Powers misplayed one of his cut overheads. It didn't actually move. It's supposed to go long and through Durant, but it actually sat up, and Durant just laced it. So that was a tough, quick game for them. And it was really welcome because they had lost 3 in a row for Durant and Mitchell, so they got right. All right, so fault and a missed overhead there.
15-30.
First couple of giveaways we've really seen from either team in the last couple of games.
I'll tell you another thing that Powers is doing so well this match is anytime that ball's moving back towards the net on his backhand side, he can hold that and either drive it or lob it. And it's tough from a positioning standpoint.
Wow. Yeah, we've seen very little of that.
40.
So I will, let's see how this game goes. That's the backhand I'm talking about right there. It's just, it's kind of a threat off both wings. So if that ball's not hit hard into the side back and it's coming off the back side, not only that, Brad and Patty, but he has such an extreme continental grip, he can put a lot of cut on that. So even if you volley it, it's not an easy volley.
Yeah, it's a heavy
McNerney
slice.
Powers, they lead 5-4, first set.
All right, so Mark Powers going to work to try to serve this first set out. He's held serve both times so far in this game. It's just great stuff there, but that's our first couple of loose points that we've seen from Durant and Mitchell. They missed 2 overheads in that one, and that's sort of these good long points you're playing over and over again, and you're making it tough on them to find a good spot to hit an overhead. And you can't say any of those misses on the overheads were difficult balls, but it's kind of this overall pressure. It happens in paddle. They're putting so much pressure on them from the baseline that it just kind of wears on you.
15 love.
Great serve by Powers there. Deep, spin.
Yeah, he's got a heavy leg bend. When you watch on there, he's an incredible leg drive up, one of the biggest in the game, actually. And he's got a very explosive serve, you know. And a lot of people think it's always the guys who are 6'3", 6'4", who have the bigger serves. But he's got such a leg drive in there; it's a really tough serve to return.
30 love. $30-15.
He's wiped his hand 3-4 times on his grip. I don't know if he needs a new wrap or I wonder if he'll be doing that. Yeah, you see him there again with the hand.
30 all.
And yeah, he's struggling there. It's bothered him a little bit. 2 huge faults there. Oh, from Mitchell.
Awesome.
He is
30-40.
Mitchell has been doing that all day long. I mean, that is just a huge weapon.
Wow, they missed the first 2 returns, and then seconds later, it is game. Seconds later, 4
Game,
quick
Durant,
errors, 2
Mitchell.
faults,
Games
a
are 5
huge
all,
backhand,
first set.
and then a missed waterfall. So 5 all here.
So I'm going to throw the question out again. Obviously, we saw the flow of that game, but they have been winning easily from the backcourt. I think from a momentum standpoint, it's valid.
No, it certainly is. I mean, you can't argue with the results. I mean, because also when you do that thing, when you stay back and you're not worried about hitting the challenging serve, you're never going to fault. And 2 faults loomed huge in that game.
Absolutely.
So you're just going to push the serve in the box, really, most of the time. That's just
Wow.
a huge spinner there.
Love 15.
And you know, when you decide to stay back, if you think about it from a perspective, it's just a strategy and not me giving anything up or a team giving anything up. I mean, it's just different looks as well.
Yeah, I think that's a common thing that people think of that, like somehow if you're not playing or going into the net, you know, that you're doing something wrong or you're giving up some offensive thing. You're really not. You're just playing the way you want to. And, you know, for a lot of players, it's an important distinction to understand. You can win the point from the backcourt. If you're winning more from the backcourt, stay back.
Right. It's all percentage based.
Yeah.
And that's that hold from Powers, too. You see Durant closed in and then a great lob down the line.
Well, this is the tricky part. You know, look, against most teams that play against Randt and Mitchell, we say that you have to get the net a little bit because Randt and Mitchell volley so well and they're so good at cutting and finishing overheads that it becomes important for some teams to be able to take the net to a degree. But Powers and McNerney have enough backcourt offense and control of their lobs and ability to defend that the Powers forehand is as equal a weapon, right? So you're just talking about playing to strengths, and it makes all the sense in the world, Guy.
And I also think, too, Brad and Patty, that it depends on the style of play that Durant and Mitchell are actually, from a tempo perspective, what they're trying to do. If they're playing fast, that's one thing. If they're playing slow, it's another thing. I mean, the last match, they played 2 very
15,
different
30.
sets. They played a very slow set, and they played a very fast set. So, tactically, very different in terms of how they're playing.
And there you see more Powers forehand just rocketing the ball through there. Nice play there from Mitchell on the screen. You know, Powers has not played a lot this year at all. He's kind of like shot out of a cannon. You know, paddle's a game that can sort of wear you a little bit. You play a ton, you can get sharp, but you can also get kind of mentally drained a little bit. And he's just got a ton of energy. I think that's what he was telling you too, Patty, when he was saying that 4-hour match. He didn't even know it was a 4-hour match. You know?
Yep.
30 all.
He is fresh.
Yeah, Powers is jumping around like a little bunny. You see how far off the court Powers was to let McNerney hit that overhead?
Yeah, it's a great lesson for a lot of players. That guy to the right should rarely. Wow, that's just a great cut overhead,
30,
just above
40.
the snowboard. Should never really go left. Very rarely.
Help.
And Patty, you said it earlier too, after talking to Powers after their long match, you know, a 4-hour paddle match. I mean, that's got to be one of the longest, certainly we've had of this season. But you could tell these guys are not bothered physically, not bothered mentally. I mean, they would have gone away a long time ago.
You know, Guy, you're going back to your other point. Powers is ripping balls through the middle right now, and they're coming in, and so is McNerney, and they're coming in behind it. And Randt and Mitchell are staying back on purpose, right? You know, it kind of lends it to the self. Would Powers and Powers and McNerney want to actually hit that return, and they just stay back? You know, because Randt and Mitchell playing this entire game from the baseline for the most part.
And that type of strategy has been done before. You never see all 4 players staying back. But it's just
It has happened.
The wills.
Oh, what a play there. Randt
Powers,
tries to
they
force
lead
the play
6
by
games to
pushing
5,
up
First set.
and perfectly pulled. That's a great look there from McNerney and a good lesson. So he pushes it through. And when somebody is inside the court, a lot of people make the mistake of trying to bounce the ball in front of them. But instead, you want to push it through their feet. Push it through their feet, not down in front of them. That's the one thing you do not want to do.
You know, I keep thinking about your comment about wouldn't they be better off maybe giving up the net, staying back, but they're not missing first volleys, right? And then once they get in the mojo, you know, they're amazing at the net. So
15 love.
I don't know.
But he's just talking
I would
rate
hate
of
to.
wins. He's talking about the rate of wins. He just thinks their
Right.
percentage has been higher in the backcourt. You know, and if you're talking strictly analytics,
Yep.
there really aren't that many more arguments to make. You know, which is curious about it though. But you're right, they're great at the net too. This team is very versatile.
Yeah, no, I think, Patty, it's a great question, and it's a good thought.
Those hands up there.
And you don't want to get kind of caught up in overthinking too much, but it's kind of like if you just won a game with a certain pattern, and you know, Power's forehand was a huge part of it. Why not keep that rolling for?
Guy, hold up for 1 second. How amazing is this? I mean,
hands.
I love that these guys are just going at each other, challenging each other. I mean, really awesome display.
30 love.
That was incredible hands up there. Toe to toe. Amazing.
Yeah, that was talk about transition game, right?
And look at McNerney reading that play there.
So Patty and Brad, my question to you is: this is how I like Randt and Mitchell to play. I like them playing the faster game. Let's see if they stay at this, even though they're down here. But
look at McNerney just.
He sees the play. He's 1 inch from the net with his
40
paddle
love.
angled down, and it's 3 set points. You know, Guy, you're talking about the fast play, but right now they're getting the better of it, Powers and Hughes. And, I mean, that's a really tough fouling team. As great a team as Durant and Mitchell is, if they don't have the advantage where they're getting the ball down at their feet, it's still a bad play even for them.
Yeah, McNerney, as tall as he is funny. He doesn't even really bend his knees, but his paddle is always in the right spot like that, right?
I mean, he is textbook, actually, almost the perfect way you'd want to model volleying for platform tennis.
If you're 6'4".
Powers, yeah, but even so, like, Powers is a little more forehand, backhand, and he can do it. And anybody with these skill sets, they're allowed to work their skills however they need to. It's just different, you know.
Yeah, I think McNerney and Powers in this set so far, no matter what happens, have just had a good blend of what they're doing. Patty, according to what we were just talking about, in at the net and the baseline, that they've had success at different times of the first set.
Oh, he's too far off on that one. He reaches.
40,
See, I
15.
don't mind him taking that move in, but if he powers it behind you, don't reach. Let it go. Just transition back.
And it's a little dangerous. McNerney going all the way across court with that overhead, but you can see how Powers sits on that line, is waiting for Mitchell there.
No.
Game and first set, McNerney Powers. 7 games to 5.
We will be right back in just a moment after these messages, right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by MI Paddle.
Hello, this is John Weinlater with Volley, and we're here at the Philly Open having a great time. So exciting to be out here at the second Grand Prix event and seeing all the momentum that's being gathered this season. It's been great being a partner with the APTA, and we've been excited with all the momentum with Volley as well. And we're about ready to hit our 500,000th ball right now on all the trainers. So it's pretty exciting that people are finding the product and talking about it. To keep track of all the new stuff going on with Volley, follow us on social or visit our website, getvolley.com. Thank you.
At Corient, we believe wealth management begins and ends with you. Because the more personal the solution, the more powerful it is. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build and provide unlimited access to the collective and profound knowledge of experts across the country. It's time your wealth strategy was as sophisticated as you. It's time to join Corient.
And welcome back to the APTA Tour. We are live from the Short Hills Club.
That's the same ball, yeah?
2024 Short Hills Grand Prix. We are watching the men's finals between Johan Durant and Stephen Mitchell and Mark Powers and Graham McNerney. Graham McNerney and Mark Powers won the first set 7-5. I'm joined by Brad Easterbrook and Patty Hogan. What did you guys think of that first set?
Patty, go ahead.
I mean, some extraordinary shot making out there, such athleticism. You know, was really curious after the 4-hour semi by Powers and McNerney, you know, what would happen, and they both assured me that it wasn't a super physical 4-hour match, if you can believe that. And, you know, they were feeling really loose and confident coming into this final. And they've played really, really well. I think Powers had a strange serving game, you know, kind of sweaty palms. He was losing his grip a little bit. McNerney had a suspect serving game, but besides that, they've played a phenomenal match.
Yeah, it's been a tremendous set. And super, incredibly high quality play. And actually, parts of that set, you were talking before, Guy, about how if they speed it up, it gets better for them. But there are moments where it even gets too fast for Randt and Mitchell, and they got in that hole in that last game there that that Powers Hughes finished out the set with, where they were playing fast, but right into the volleys of McNerney and Powers. But some of that was just incredible hands. I mean, they played a couple of perfect points, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. They're slowing it back down here for a minute. Just out.
Good look from Powers, though.
It was a great look, and as you were bringing up before, Guy, really that set, they were down 3-1 Powers and Hughes, and that's really because the Powers forehand hadn't heated up, right? From that moment, they've won, obviously, 6 games to a couple there for Randt and Mitchell, and the Powers forehand has taken it over once he got into the rhythm. He missed a couple here, but it was the big dog on the court. So they're going to have to be incredibly mindful of that as this goes on.
Hey, Guy, I have a question for you. When you talk about how Randt, Mitchell, you feel like they're at their best when they play fast, when you say that, do you mean when they play fast as the net team or when they play fast as the baseline team?
Good question. I think both, to be honest with you. I think
30-15.
We've all watched, Randt play with different partners over the years, and again, Stephen Mitchell, Randt, Hall of Fame careers. But I think Randt is best when he's moving and using his range, and I think he's best at the net when he's mixing in a bunch of different overheads, from rollers to the ball that he hits hard at you that you just simply want to get out of the way of, the cutter. And I stand by it. I would like to see that style more because the pressure is immense. So I think Patty too and Brad, when they play slow, a lot of teams can play with them. When they play fast and Randt takes over the match in the ways that he can, there's not a lot of teams that can stay with them.
I think that's spot on, Guy. I think that's right. When they play fast and they're playing like Randt, Mitchell, it's always their match to lose.
I could not agree with you more, and that's my mindset. So, and even in this match, I mean, it's probably for everyone out there watching, when I call Randt Mitchell matches, and probably saying, well, Guy, you always talk about this, but guess what? That overhead he hits at Mach 5, I mean, that is one of the largest weapons in the game. And I just think the threat of that coming at you when you don't know what's coming at you, even though he only used it 3 times in the previous match, it puts you on your heels because your first thought is, I got to get out of the way.
So why haven't we seen it so far, Guy?
You and I were talking about that before we went on the stream, and I mean, probably some of it's because of the weather and the warm temperatures we're having in Jersey, but it's just such a threat. I mean, when you change a rule in the game of paddle for a shot, it's just something that, I think that it's got to be something that your opponents, when they're on the baseline, feel like can happen at any time because it puts you on your heels.
Right. So for Randt, when he hits that shot, that massively attacking overhead, he's got to be inside the service box, doesn't he?
Absolutely, off his front foot.
Right, and so I think, a lot to be said here for the lobbing scheme. You talk about it all the time, but we're seeing it from McNerney Powers, and, they're not giving Randt that look at all. He can't bring it into this match, I don't think. because I don't think they're giving him opportunity to hit it. Like right there, he could have unloaded on that one. You know, he had it off his front foot, short ball. Or right there, right? He could have clocked that ball.
Yeah, it's the one where he's coming forward and he can hold it and showing you the same grip as hitting it soft or hitting it with head. But even if Patty and Brad, even if he hits it and he hits it from a little deep and they give up the net, it's still something that's on everyone's mind because, and it's probably a lot to do with the temperature. I mean, I go back to that because, I mean, he could easily hit it across the plane of the net, but you know, you're correct. I mean, they're lobbing well, and McNerney in that forehand side just lulls you to sleep because he lobs the ball so well. And the fact of the matter is, he's not looking to press. I mean, I haven't seen him, other than one forehand the entire match, press on a ball.
Yeah, and Powers and McNerney are completely in sync. Like right now, you know, Powers is still, he's just waiting for that ball, but it's 75 balls in now, and he's still on his toes just rating. And you'll see him make a feint in the move here, right? There he goes. And didn't quite get what he wanted, but he's still ready even when he doesn't get 10 in a row, and that's a heck of a point there.
40,
grind
30.
that one out.
I tell you what, Brad, too, when you see Powers hit that forehand, you could hear it, right?
Yep.
And that ball is being hit, you know, from the middle to the top third of his paddle, which creates just tons of paddle head speed. And that's what makes that noise. Because it's such the clean spot.
Oh,
like that.
look at that.
Bang.
I mean, Randt was 1 inch from the net, and he still couldn't catch up to that. Powers just ripped it. Great shot. All set up, though, by that great little dink from McNerney. Really caught them. They're softening them up with the deep lobs. And like you said, they're sort of content to go soft and deep and wait for the one opportunity to kind of close in and grind these points out right now. Good lob.
So the thing to watch here, too, is, you know, the last match Durant and Mitchell played against Humphreys and Osix Comic, they played a slow first set, sped it up in the second set. They won the first set 12-10 in the breaker. But they played, for lack of a better way to say it, as a really good front runner. So are they going to play another set the same way as the first set? Although this first set had a lot of back and forth in terms of speed and transition, right?
It did, and I think they got beat enough times in the speed and transition plays where they're cautious about it.
That's what I'm interested to see, if Durant starts hitting more of those types of overheads.
Look at that smooth move there. McNerney knows Powers coming across, slides right behind him. These guys, I don't think have played a ton together, McNerney and Powers, but they're playing like they have.
And that's the thing about McNerney. McNerney's very adaptable to who he plays with. I mean, he's one of the guys on the tour that plays with several different people. And he doesn't look out of sorts very much.
Well, I think McNerney might have played with more partners than anyone else probably on the entire tour. There were years where he was switching off right and left.
What about Dan Hansen?
No, I mean, yeah, we can get in there. But, yeah, there's a few guys. But he's played so much, and he's adapted. He knows what his style is. And it's also just a nice, the pieces are fitting here a little bit together too, because sometimes the one thing, it's not a knock per se, but if people start dumping it slowly to McNerney, the points become longer because it doesn't always accelerate, and put that high pressure ground stroke in there. He's always moving you around in pieces. So you have to be, as a partner, patient and ready, because he will set you up. But it may take 100 balls, and there's a lucky one. They actually had him a little off balance.
Advantage, Randt, Mitchell.
Mitchell's shaking his hand out there. Did that ball catch his hand? Well, obviously it couldn't have, but what happened there?
I don't know. Maybe they actually hit each other because there was some confusion there right in the middle. They got right on top of each other. They might have nicked him.
You're at.
Oh, that's going to get him. What a volley.
Game, Randt, Mitchell. They lead 1-0 second set.
Great hold there.
Powers won the first set, 7-5.
So Hansen's played with a lot of different partners. McNerney, how many partners can you guys name? Let's just start. Who he's played a tournament with the last 2 years, besides
Hansen?
Wanaraya?
I'm gonna text him and just ask him, because we'll be here for a while.
Thomas Nolan, Modek Stravinsky, Randy Lofgren, Scott Kaler, Jay Woldenberg. Graham is a warrior. He'll come out of the season. He always plays a lot of the early tournaments. Sometimes you see guys play more the second half of the season. McNerney's out there all the time. That's why he's so, high up in the APTA Cup standings.
That is just a great return. Sharp angle. Early snap cross court there. Powers, he's slipping with the shoes too a little bit there. Making sure his footing is good.
McNerney was a quarterfinalist last year in Nationals. Played with Thomas Nolan, and they lost to Hughes and Powers in the quarters.
Oh, what a great shot. He drops it, pushes it low. Randt just a little sluggish. I thought maybe he thought Mitchell was going for that one. Oh, the hands just outrageous. But the defensive volleying for McNerney, most people lose the point right there, Patty. I see Mitchell sneaking in, and then you hear the call hard from McNerney, which means he doesn't want him to hit a push overhead, because Mitchell will be taking it out of the air. Oh, tricky little lob there. Oh, wow, good sneaky moves, Mitchell. Using his speed, he's trying to force them to hit the overhead a little harder, and then they get a screen drive as well. So it's got a kind of a dual purpose there. If they hit a pop-up volley, he takes it out of the air. If they hit it harder, maybe Randt can get a drive out of it. So far, McNerney Powers up to the task and communicating very well.
Another thing, too, about McNerney playing with all those different partners and having success is that, going back to what Patty said, I mean, he sets you up so well in the backcourt, and he has a very, very good neutralizing overhead when he's pushed back deep. Do Powers and McNerney stay this way or switch, Brad?
I think they stay for a minute, but they're going to switch.
Patty, how many balls?
2 more.
Okay.
1. Here we go. The great
Go!
prognosticator.
Come on, Mark!
down, drop that one. No! 2 balls. Almost, Patty. Almost. Good try.
Well, I didn't tell you 2. I really meant 4.
Yeah, it was, you know.
No.
I'm with you. I'll
I
give you
was
the
with
win.
you. Okay.
I'll give you the win.
Thanks, Brad.
But both of you asked a good question tonight.
Oh, yeah.
That was perfect.
We knew they would switch back. You know, the Powers forehand, the dominant shot in this match thus far. And of course, you got to get them back over that ad side.
And in some cases, the switch is great. It's warranted. You know, it just gives different looks. It forces the team to hit to the outside or the inside. The spots that they have to hit to are just more available to them when they're the other direction. Here, Powers can cover so much ground with that forehand from all the way to the other side of the hash mark. Misses that one. He goes for the tomahawk backhand. All right.
30-40.
Break point here, Randt and Mitchell.
This is where they, McNerney and Powers have to be careful, because even though Randt and Mitchell are down a set, if they're winning the second set, they still feel like they could be a front runner. And I would be interested again of the speed and the tempo of the match.
Well, they're doing this not from speeding it up, but from actually being disciplined and picking and choosing a little bit better.
I don't disagree with that. Just interested to see if they get a little bit of a lead. If they stay the same, which why wouldn't they, right?
Yeah. But, that's a great spot there, and they're just on top of each other a little. But, Guy, you're bringing up all great points in the way that, for Randt and Mitchell, winning points at the net and carve them up are usually a big part of their arsenal or their game. They really haven't been able to do that today. It hasn't been available to them. They're not able to carve them up. They haven't gone for too much. If they've tried, they haven't had the better of it, and they really haven't tried that much yet. So it's a unique part, and it's why Powers and McNerney are up 7-5. They're able to take the lead here because they've taken away one of their big offenses or made them uncomfortable trying it.
Yeah, and having said that, in the previous match,
Advantage McNerney, Powers.
Mitchell threw a couple cutters in there, one forehand, one backhand that he saved for the really right moments in the match, and Johan Randt did the same thing, but you haven't seen that at all from him. You're right. There's just not been any of it. And I guess we could talk about it 2 ways. We could say, hey, there hasn't been a lot of opportunities for that, but at the same time, you're right. They're down a set 5. But
See, and Guy, I kind of feel like Powers and McNerney's scheme here on their overheads, they're really not bringing in the athleticism that Mitchell and Randt have and what they possess. Like they're kind of keeping them kind of flat-footed back there on the baseline. That's what Randt wants. He wants a ball that he can actually move to go hit. I don't know. That's why I still keep thinking that they're really dictating the tempo of this match. What a shot from Stephen Mitchell, big time.
And that's, Patty, great thoughts. And that's what I'm saying right there is that type of point, I think, is very well suited for Mitchell and Randt. I mean, speeding it up, hitting drives, throwing lobs, using their athleticism, whether it be at the net or on the baseline.
Guys, is it more tiring playing the net, or is it more tiring playing the baseline?
I think it depends on the lob drive ratio for sure. Because the more someone drives at you when you're at the net,
Powers.
the less work you have to do. The baseline team's scrambling a lot more when they're.
Wow. And that's just
Powers,
right there is
1-1
McNerney's
second set.
exceptional defense causing that mistake. Mitchell decides he's going to frame him and body it. and he's really almost not trying to hit it in, trying to just go hard into his body, a little intimidating. It's actually a baseline version of the hard overhead guy.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, Patty, going back to your question too, it's, if you have a good plan at the net on where you're hitting your overheads, and you obviously have your job description, who's hitting more of those overheads, who's going to be the one looking to volley, which with two righties, it becomes a little bit more basic. With the lefty-righty, you can always plan the stagger, but if you have your spots, you're really only moving in a couple different zones, so to speak. I mean, a basic one would be hitting the ball to the ad side back and then dumping the ball to the deuce player's backhand, which you see a lot at the club level.
15 all.
So the volleyer is only moving, 50-60% of the court. It just...
Oh, nice to get a break like that.
Little mishit, drop shot volley winner. He apologized.
That's a mistake there from McNerney, but great hands from Powers.
I mean, that's an unbelievable volley from the middle of nowhere. Ball down by your waist.
A good lesson for everybody, watching is, part of what makes people great volleyers too is they're putting their paddle in a place where the ball is also more likely to go. He knows he's coming at him towards his feet. Anything that's up higher is going out. So he's putting his paddle down there anyway. It's still phenomenal hands and touch just to get it back, but it makes such a difference for all players.
Yeah, he's looking for that specific window where the ball's going to go, and like you said, Brad, he's not looking for anything else. Not going to chase a ball, and even if it's either if it's hit that hard, it's going out, or it's an easy ball to play off the back screen. Great give by Powers. The ball stayed tight on the side.
Oh, wow. That's a really good low cross court there. Oh, 6'4" is not enough.
They lead 2-1, second set.
So, Patty, quick rundown on the Short Hills Invitational. We begin the stats all weekend, but what was it, 464 players out here. They had 6 different tournaments going on.
6 or 7 different tournaments, I believe. They had something for everyone. They had men's B, men's open, men's Grand Prix, women's Grand Prix, men's... What else do we have, Brad? 95s, 105 plus on the women. Something for everyone. Really quite a remarkable feat to pull this off. And, again, shout out to Brian Skinner and his whole committee. Just a phenomenal job. And to all the clubs in the area, 20 clubs gave up the use of their courts over the course of this weekend to host the game's best players. And, just a phenomenal event. And Brian Skinner managed to even have 3 perfect weather days. Quite remarkable, given the amount of rain and snow we've had on the APTA Tour this year.
Yeah, so kudos to all. And it's a perfect kind of prelude. We got a few more events. And next week we're going to be in Indianapolis. But after that, it's a march down to Nationals. Indianapolis, Philly coming up. Patty, if you want to get a word in, Junior Nationals coming around too.
Junior Nationals, Brad, thanks. That first weekend and the weekend before Open Nationals, first Saturday in March. Hosting that out of New Jersey. Thanks in advance to all the clubs and all the pros who come out and act as HUD commanders and make it a really special day for the kids. And kudos to Canubra Country Club. Phenomenal job. We have a really fun family tailgate party on the Saturday afternoon. We'll be live streaming thanks to My Paddle. Well, we have a great day planned, and hopefully if you got some junior players out there, it's not too late to get them signed up. Go to platformtennis.org and go to the juniors. Get your kids involved. It's the game for life.
Challenging serve there.
30-15.
A little flat-footed there from Randt.
Yeah, we were talking about it before too. Wow, great hands.
Oh my goodness! I mean, on both shots, that first one's right at his feet. He hits a half volley, soft and short on purpose, and then he drop volleys the next one. Astounding.
You know, McNerney's serve too is just so deep in the box, and it gets on you so fast.
Oh, perfect spot there. Powers caught off guard
40-30.
completely. The one-timer there from Mitchell, beautiful.
And as we're headed to the Nationals in Boston, we're going to have a special event opening up the Nationals on Thursday night, which will be the induction of Johan Durant into the Platform Tennis Hall of Fame. Considered by many the GOAT, the greatest player of all time. Quite remarkable. We've had so many phenomenal champions in our game, but you know, Durant's play has just been spectacular. And I've got a question about Durant's play.
Advantage, Durant. Mitchell.
I'm going to throw it to you, Brad. I've never seen a guy playing from the baseline like Johan does with how long he looks at the ball when it hits his paddle. Can you talk about that, Brad? Like,
Game, Durant, Mitchell. They
you get everybody. You say to everybody, watch the ball.
Second set.
But when you watch Durant play, have you ever seen someone who watches the ball as long as he does as the ball comes off his paddle?
Yeah, it's a perfect indication of what you're wanting to do. He's not looking where he's hitting it. He actually hits the ball. He's got a screen back there. He's still staring at the spot where it was, you know, and then he's going back up there, and it's, you know, he's with shot after shot, he does that, and you can see it. It's like a little metronome, and it's a great example for a lot of players to follow. You know, seeing it go all the way in there, and his head stays still. It's also kind of a combination. His head is still. It allows him to body. He's not jerking his body around, so it just leads to being more consistent and more solid. Wow, what a get there. And what a quick turn of events in that game. They were up 40-15, missed one shot, and then fault, you know. So 3-1 here, which is exactly where they were in the first set, Durant and Mitchell. Oh, he fakes him out. He fakes bailing and closes back in. Well done.
Do you guys like the Randt position on this ad side? Do you think that gives a different look? I like it.
I like it a lot. I think it's exactly, and they do this frequently. They return from the other sides because they prefer doing it that way.
15.
And Durant's ability, I mean, it's not that Mitchell's forehand isn't great over on the other side either, but 90% of the Mitchell and Durant offense is maybe more than 90% is all forehand driven, right? And some guys have good backhand, so their ability to sneak up that wire and Durant's ability to do that is exceptional. And his quick release just makes it such a dangerous weapon over there.
And the other thing, too, is when he does sneak up that wire, he's so good at going down the line. So when he's, call it, maybe out of position because he's pinching so far to his left, the ball can go behind him when he goes down the line.
Yep.
So when Mitchell and Durant started playing together a couple years ago, Durant was always in the ad court. When did they switch? 2 seasons ago, you guys?
Yeah, I think it was 2 seasons ago. And their power showing that he's got that move too. Can he get around the net post? He cannot. Oh, that's a killer. Great shot from Durant.
I assume I didn't get it. I couldn't see.
That's right underneath the chair. He's trying to figure out what happened.
You know, I think when Mitchell and Durant started, they obviously had instant success, but I think as Mitchell's play just improved, you know, it used to be Mitchell was a role player, and then, you know, everybody realized Mitchell's one of our game's top players. You know, he happens to play with his great buddy, Durant, but he's amazing in his own right. He is way more than a role player, let's call it. Durant's a 6-time APTA men's national champ. He won in 2010 with Jerry Albrechts. He won in 2013 and 14 with Parsons. And he won in 2021 and 23 with Stephen Mitchell.
Yeah, it's a unique thing, too, to be called the greatest of all time, yet there are teams out there, who have 10, 11 national championships. And it really comes down to more how he revolutionized the game, the offensive weapons that he brought into play, and, just some of the things that he has done, out on the court, along with winning with multiple partners and the whole, ball of wax. There's always that argument, Tom Brady, he's got 7 rings. Does anybody ever catch him? But they're starting to immediately already to talk about Patrick Mahomes in the same breath, even though he's not even close in the rings, just because of what he does. So, Durant, it's a very special case.
And Mitchell and Durant, they settle into this pattern, and they play slow well as well. They do.
Well, one of the things that happened is, for a while there, that whole run that Powers and McNerney were having in that first set, where they went from 3-1 down to taking the set 7-5, we just kept talking about the Powers forehand is really dictating the match. When's the last time we've said it?
Right.
They're taking it out of play. It's not there anymore. They're not hitting the ball down right into his forehand. They're slowing the points down to certain spots. If they're going to Powers, it's more, and they're really isolating more of McNerney here. Here comes Powers now, and that'll work for him there. But it's been a different scenario. When Powers and McNerney are winning, we're talking about the Powers forehand. When they're not, it's all of a sudden, what are we talking? We're not talking about it really at all.
Patty and Brad, do you guys think it's a strategy to discuss, if Powers' forehand is the weapon, actually playing Powers more, hitting to his forehand clearly, but keeping him pushed back, and then when you're in trouble, going to Graham? Or do you like it? It could work both ways, right? You could just play Graham, but you don't want Powers' forehand hurting you when you're in trouble, or vice versa.
Yeah, if you're going to make Powers beat you, I think you got to get it to his side screen, as you were saying.
30, 40.
You can play him, but you make him beat you with the backhand, and he can hit a pretty good one. But I like the idea of kind of playing it more towards Graham and then going behind Powers whenever you need to, and any time he starts to roam too far.
But that's why McNerney, he does such a good job of playing with so many different people, because he does do exactly what he's doing right now. He's just chipping away. He's lobbing every single one of those balls with intention. You see how he's moving it there. And then you see Powers almost blitz.
Oh, they're getting some breaks now. He's going to hold up his hand there, and that brings it to deuce. Wow. A couple little let courts here. They're actually factoring in.
I think the biggest thing you just said, Brad, is that they more or less eliminated Powers' forehand from the equation. So they took the one shot that was hurting them and causing confusion and taking it off the court.
Yeah, and I don't think Powers and McNerney are going to find a way. They're going to need it to be able to win this match. And if anything, actually, right now, we're talking about pace of play. If anything, the biggest thing is that the Powers pace of play is like he's just not getting the same balls. It's slowed down tremendously. I'm not sure how he can affect that right now, but
So, last overhead Durant just hit. You think he could have gone to the sidewire on that? For sure, right?
could he have gone to the sidewire? Yeah, he could have. Yeah.
So why does he go there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't think it was the ideal overhead, but yeah, like that to me is perfect. But maybe he's baiting him a little, or maybe he just missed his spot. And this stuff works a variety of ways. When you take a player and you remove the weapon, you take it off the board for a bit, and then you start to go back to, that's more, I think he just missed his spot, to be honest, going back to the last point. But you take it off the board, when you go back to it, things may have changed. Maybe he misses one, he's iced out a little colder, a little pressing now, or a little more anxious to hit it because he hasn't hit as many. That's, and that's
the rhythm. Yeah, the rhythm's gone.
The idea behind all this stuff, and it works in a multitude of ways. Did I say I had a hard stop at 4:30, by the way? Start cooking.
So, whose tempos does this favor right now?
Oddly, I think it actually favors Randt and Mitchell. You're going to tell me they want to play faster.
No,
I think this is working wonders for him.
But remember how McNerney and Powers won that 4-set match? It had to be pretty similar to this.
Yeah. Maybe. See, this is right now, this point is a battle of wills. It's no longer about shot making, anything else. It's who's going to crack, just hitting overhead out or make the really bad shot that's try to force the play too much. This point has become deeper than just the shots.
It's going to come down to who presses first, right?
Right. Or who goes for it and either makes it or doesn't. But often in these points, it's whoever just pushes an overhead out, or strikes a drive and goes for it too much.
All right, Patty and Brad, it's like the Super Bowl coin toss. Oh, no.
Yeah, there it was.
Powers, you can't do that before we...
You just kill you in mid-sentence, guy. He shut you right down.
You can't do that, Powers.
Football.
Oh, wow. What a big moment for that.
No.
No warnings. No. You're already pre-warned. That's just a football call.
Wow.
I bet he just...
Should we look at it again? I'm not sure if
I bet he just started on the line. He's not known to foot fault. I don't know if it's ever been called on him. Sometimes you play these long points. He might have just set up on the line. Oh, wow. What a turn. I mean, there it goes. It's amazing. Little mental error, like a little mental thing like that just changes the complexion of that game. All right, well, one of our terrific sponsors again is Fusion, and in collaboration with the APTA, Fusion is at the forefront of personalized gear and apparel. Backed by a team of seasoned industry experts, we provide exclusive access to high-end products from top-tier retail brands, all poised for customization with your club logo, team name, or corporate branding. Our streamlined approach guarantees a hassle-free shopping experience, complemented by custom online storefronts and swift ordering. Visit www.gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion seamlessly weave your branding into elite merchandise. Guy, Patty, you ever been called for a foot fault?
Oh,
I have not.
You have not, Guy? Come on, you and your size 14s? Get out of here.
I have not. 11 and a half, thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, I have. And it does mess with your head a little bit.
I've been called on a
15
foot fault in mixed nationals where I was serving and staying back. I got called on a foot fault twice. It's pretty hard to
Patty,
do.
you shouldn't have told that story, Patty.
I'm sorry, that was embarrassing.
But it does actually give you pause. You start thinking
Very
about
well.
it. Did I foot fault? I'm not a foot faulter, right? And then is a clear delineation from how that game's going to how it finishes, right? It goes from foot fault to, oh boy, that's a great strike right at the body. That's the fearsome weapon that you're talking about, but again, the other way from the baseline.
So let's just go back to that forehand from
30
Durant.
all.
We've watched this entire match, and no one on the court's hit the ball that hard ever. And that's all I say is that if
30,
the threat
40.
is there, you always have to look for it because that is a laser.
Yeah, it is that indeed, and it is a good point, Guy. And he brought it out there at that moment, and we'll see if he brings it out again. And I'm not sure if that was tactic or blowing off steam or whatever, but either way, great
Both.
shot. Yeah, and they got the break point right now. And that'll go a long way to getting this break back to erasing that sour taste of that end of that game that Mitchell served. It's just a rule, the foot faults. It's always in a league play. It's always kind of a thing, controversial. Some people have egregious foot faults, and it really should be called. That one there could have just been, long point. He wasn't paying attention. But there they bring out another hard drive. I misses wide.
Deuce.
And that's, that type of call is something that can change the energy of a match, either good or bad.
Yeah, no question. It definitely took some air and starch out of that 3-1 lead that Randt and Mitchell had. And if they could get this game back, I think it sort of neutralizes. If not, it's still hanging out there. It's like we were here, now we're not. Oh, Powers goes for the slap volley. Tries to go with the body
Durant,
there.
Mitchell.
I think this is actually a big game here for Randt Mitchell because it sort of kind of wipes away that negative feelings.
It's kind of like the oldest saying we know is, you poke the bear a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah, in this case, it was the ref poking the bear. Just on his forehand, but he's not quite ready for it. Another great reflex volley there from McNerney. Yeah, there's definitely an uptick in the pace they're heading with.
Right?
Advantage Durant, Mitchell.
My question to both of you is, do you like it or do you not?
I like it.
Good.
You think at this point in the second set here, that 4-hour semifinal is hurting Powers and McNerney a little bit?
Go ahead, Guy.
You know what, Patty? I would like to say yes, but I'm just going to say no. I mean, I don't.
Game Durant, Mitchell.
Well, I fear
They
I
lead 4 games to
feel
2.
a little-
Second set.
a little drop off in their energy level here. That's all.
Well,
And it's
Remember
it's
how we
mental.
call
I
it.
don't think it's physical. I think it's
Yeah,
mental.
I would agree with you. If it was going to be anything, it would be
Have you
mental.
been
But
close? No.
you know, going back to that football call, not a big deal. A footfall's a footfall, but that's why you have someone as qualified as Mark Bliss in the chair. But the fact of the matter is, you know, you win a couple freebie points like they did because Mitchell was kind of collecting himself. I mean, it can cause you to relax a little bit. It changes the intensity.
Yeah, that's a big moment there. I
love.
think that game, fascinating the way that all that turn of events and them getting that game back there. What a huge thing. He was still talking about that foot fault with Mark Bliss, and he's gone to the overhand serve right now for 2 in a row. And it's no coincidence.
When's the last time you heard Durant yell on the court like that?
A yell on the court? Very rarely.
Like that, exactly. So that's exactly what I'm saying. Is that energy is something that I don't know. I don't want to say it's not there, but I just love to see it from anybody.
30
Yeah,
love.
no. I mean, poking the bear is a good thing. It's like, you know, that football call sort of, it's jarring them up here now a little bit. And Patty, I don't think it has anything to, I'm going to agree with Guy in the sense that it has nothing to do with a 3-hour match, but
40
the
love.
energy shifts that are going on here are definitely a little bit of something.
Well, and you and Brad and Patty, I didn't mention this earlier, but in the previous match, Durant, and
Game,
you could
Durant,
see
Mitchell.
you could see the
They lead
pace.
5 games to 2, second set.
This is what I've been talking about for probably too long, but this is exactly the pace that I think favors Durant and Mitchell, period. Whenever they play, it doesn't matter who they play. This is it. And in the semifinals earlier, Durant said to the chair umpire, you know, when they were playing Osis Connick and Humphreys, hey, you know, I'm ready to serve and the players aren't ready to return. I'm going to ask you to play at my pace because he does like to play quicker. Not necessarily how hard he's hitting overheads or this or that. It's like the difference between Nadal and Federer. I mean, Nadal wants to take a lot of time and Federer likes to play fast. It's just a style, but it does favor your personality, right?
Yeah, no, it does. There's no question about it. You know, and here it's kind of strange, and certainly they have the ability to play both ways. That's just a forward return with an attack behind it, and he's really guarded up here. And
that's one of the things you guys
fascinating.
Durant went over the deuce court from the ad court. You know, I'd never seen a player who returned serve so well from that deuce court side, and he just powered through the ball and forced the transition from the opposing team immediately on the return of serve. So, you know, I keep thinking about here is Johan Durant, greatest player of all time, potentially. Just plays either side, and, you know, a couple questions in the chat room about, you know, why you don't see Johan hitting some different overheads and really attacking on it, but I just think McNerney and Powers have done a pretty good job with the lobs, negating, you know, a lot of that from Durant out here. And it doesn't behoove Durant out here to necessarily hit the ball super hard because he has such regard for, I think, the athleticism of Powers and McNerney's ability to come up with anything. So, you know, to what end does he use his energy
15.
to, you know, do that? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I think what I've been trying to say for the last few times I've watched, and I'm just going to be specific to Durant, you know, that energy that he just brought over the past 2 games is, I mean, that's even that miss. I like that miss
because it's a strike. He hit it.
30.
Yes. I mean, that energy is. I'll use one word, and I think for anyone watching.
Wait, Guy, you're only going to use one word?
One word. It's called noticeable, and everyone watching and us talking about it. I mean, it's obviously everyone can tell what's going on.
Yeah, it's no question. It's intimidating, and it is like right now in this moment, like that complete flip around. They woke those guys up, and a couple of little negative things happened to Powers and Hewers, and it's like they stole all the energy from the arena. And in shots before, all of a sudden you saw McNerney inches off the net, backing off a little bit. The moment they started sticking those balls and the energy shifted over, it's like they took all the air out of the balloon and just stole it, stole all the energy in the room for a minute. So it's a unique set of events there.
Thirty all.
Yeah, that forehand's being hit with a little bit more authority.
Oh no, he's sticking it. And it's great. I agree with you.
Do you think the big... Wow, great ball. Do you think the big overhead's coming here, Brad or Patty, or no?
Oh my goodness. Wow. They're
No.
just getting some good fortune there. I don't think it's coming either, but I
30-40.
think the idea of the threat exists a little bit now. That's just stellar hands. And there is that
Game and
second set.
Randt Mitchell, 6 games to 2.
Great replay. Wow. We will be right back in just a moment after these messages, right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by My Paddle.
Hello, this is John Weinlater with Volley, and we're here at the Philly Open having a great time. So exciting to be out here at the second Grand Prix event and seeing all the momentum that's being gathered this season. It's been great being a partner with the APTA, and we've been excited with all the momentum with Volley as well. And we're about ready to hit our 500,000th ball right now on all the trainers. So it's pretty exciting that people are finding the product and talking about it. To keep track of all the new stuff going on with Volley, follow us on social or visit our website, getvolley.com. Thank you.
At Corient, we believe wealth management begins and ends with you. Because the more personal the solution, the more powerful it is. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build and provide unlimited access to the collective and profound knowledge of experts across the country. It's time your wealth strategy was as sophisticated as you. It's time to join Corient.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We are live from the Short Hills Club, bringing you the 2024 Short Hills Grand Prix. We have the men's finals going on here between Johan Randt and Stephen Mitchell, and Mark Powers and Graham McNerney. Graham McNerney and Powers won the first set 7-5. Johan Durant, Stephen Mitchell won the second set 6-2. Quite a change in events there in that second set, right, Brad and Patty?
Take it, Brad.
I mean, it certainly was, and change in energy across the board. It's 3-1 game, and Mitchell and Durant are basically, playing the way they want to play. Foot fault calls, and then immediately another fault and a loss of point right after. And it completely shifted the energy around in the game. And I actually think the moment they got it, they just got it right back. They started hitting some hard balls right away. They took that next game. And what a difference in how that set turned out.
You think Mitchell's thinking about that foot fault anymore?
I really do think that when they got that break right back, it erased most of it. I do not.
Yeah, I agree. short-term, short-term memory for sure. Plus, Patty and Brad, when you run out a set like that, in command,
Yeah, but you think about it the other way too, and Patty, I don't know, let me know what you think about this. It's you're playing a set, and if they lose that game, Powers and McNerney hold that next game, and they tie it at 3-3, and then somehow they go on to win that match. The only thing anybody's going to be talking about is that moment, that foot fault call, and that moment. That's the only conversation there's going to be, about the match. It's now that we've moved past it, it's completely erased and moved from that moment. But it was a very unique, thing to happen in the match. And I think right now the energy that McNerney and Powers have just got to kind of fight their way back into this, because those guys have just taken all the momentum.
Brad, I have a question for you from Mike Raleigh. Enjoying watching the action here from Chicago. He's getting ready for Team Nationals out at Exmoor Country Club. He says when Johan is lining up his forehand, he's got McNerney on the opposite side, and he sees McNerney on top of the net. And he goes high at McNerney. Is that bad etiquette, or is that the right paddle shot? What do you think, Brad?
That's a great question. That's a tough call. I might have to abstain on this one. I think if you go at somebody's head, it's bad etiquette. If you go up in the body zone, it's just part of the game.
Guy, do you agree?
I do. I mean, having a target, especially when you're going to go big and someone has to get out of the way, and you're talking about the finals of the Short Hills Invitational, I mean, that's just a quick "I'm sorry" and move along.
And the honest truth is, how would you win a point against McNerney if he's right on top of the net and you hit like just a drive right into his paddle? It's not going to happen. So spotting up into a little bit better zone. And there's the first one we see. And Powers cannot get it. And that was perfectly done. He let it drop low. That would have stayed on their side. And it's the first one we've seen. And it's all stemmed from them picking up the pace after that foot fault call.
Right. Yeah, I just... Again, we all just watched that. I don't know many other players that can hit the ball that well, that way. And I just think it's such a weapon that...
Right, I think what happens, Guy, over the years with Johan, what I have seen is sometimes as the weather gets warmer and he pulls out that shot, I've seen it go out of the court, so it can work against him as well. And when he hit that shot and pulled it off there, he let the ball drop, and he put that ball, in the corner so it would hit the two screens, so it would definitely stay in play. He kept it so low. I've seen him hit some that just fly all over the place right out of the court.
Well, he missed that one, and like everything, there's a line, right? There's a line where, yes, it's intimidating, and then there's a line where there's one too many, and you start making some mistakes, and you lose your way just trying to hit it one more time, right? So there's always a balance, and that's with all of these, the players are always trying to find that, because there's a certain rhythm that works for you. And I agree with Guy, if he brings it out, and he brought it out twice here, one for a win or one for an error. So, but and Guy's point is really just the intimidating factor of using it to the first place is worth something. And he's right. But there is a point where it's going to work against him, just like going for cutters, right? You hit a cutter, you finish a point, great. Then you miss two, okay? We've seen the success this year of Salazar and Regalado doing it all without really cutting the ball, hitting rollers, but primarily just using push overheads to reset the pace and slow it down to something where they're manageable and they can volley it. So, it's a line for all the players out there.
Mark Innes was saying to me that, we've seen McNerney hit 1,000,000 down-up overheads. That's like he loves that shot, and Mark observed that he has never seen Durant use that shot as much as he's using it now. Maybe he's been watching. He's been watching too much of Graham on the live stream, I think.
He's got the little flamingo going, doesn't he?
He's got the flamingo going.
Yeah.
I feel very confident that he's not watching too much of Graham on the live stream. I think, yeah,
I think you're right, Brad.
I'm not even sure he's like one to think. I think he thinks about the match and he's very intentional with all the things he's doing out there. But I'm not sure he watches the live stream actually. Maybe here and there. Jeez, that's a rip right there. Wow.
30-40.
Just stuffs it, and there's the huge powers forehand. We haven't seen a ton of it, and when it starts to open up the play, we're going to see more of it.
Yeah, I mean, they basically went that whole second set and neutralized that, and in this first game here, he's hit 2 big ones. And you know what, Patty and Brad? I mean, we could just call it as simple as that. I mean, they took it off the court in the second set. That could be the difference in the match. I mean, obviously, we've talked about the foot fault and Johan Randt taking over more of that later part of the second set. So what? Powers' forehand was not impactful at all in that second set. Hey, Brad, what are you grilling at your Super Bowl party for me?
Oh, for you, Guy. Specialty. No grilling today, actually. I'm going to be making a couple of shrimp quesadillas. One blackened shrimp quesadilla with charred pineapple and jalapeno cream. And just another one, just your basic with kind of like, it's also going to be blackened shrimp with just, peppers, onions, jack cheese kind of thing, and then we'll have a mango salsa with that one.
Will mine be gluten-free?
Yours could be gluten-free if you wanted it to be gluten-free. I'll suck all the gluten out of it for you.
That's the kind of friend you are, Brad.
I will do that for you, Patty.
I mean, in a game like this, Patty and Brad can almost define a set. I mean, a long, long game. All these points are ball after ball, and
yeah, it sure can.
Derek Yost, who's watching the action from Philly, said the football call was absolutely correct by Mark Bliss.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's saying it's not.
Right. He says, but Graham and Mark have to wish it wasn't called almost.
exactly.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. And oddly, we talk about what it does to the server, but it actually can affect the other team as well. It's like you got a football call. Some people are even feel guilty for their good fortune or something. So yeah, it was a unique situation, and caller makes a great point.
Well, it just creates that lull, right? And then it also creates a different energy from the other side of the court. Even though Durant and Mitchell were winning the set, it changed things substantially. So talking about pace of play again, we saw how the last 3 games of the second set went, and you're seeing now something completely different. So that's where I look at it and always say the tempo that's quicker makes McNerney and Powers move more is the easier way for Durant and Mitchell to win this match, but I don't think there's any denying what happened in the last 3 or 4 games of the second set, right?
Yeah, no question. It wasn't the hard overheads, though. It wasn't from
You're
this
right.
side of
No,
the court.
you're-
It was
you're-
from the back court. But it is interesting. You're right. There, and maybe keeping that kind of tempo and pace would be the right thing to do.
Well, you know what I liked about most of it? I just liked the energy between Mitchell and Durant. I mean, great friends, great team, great champions, whatever. But that energy that they showed during those 3 games was the type of energy that allows them to win the way they did.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. You could see that bump and that step, that pep in their step, and hitting, moving forward. Almost the intimidation factor coming out, which is really what you're looking for more than anything else.
Yeah, I must say that I have been on the other side of that a couple times, and I know, especially, I mean, Durant's used that hard ball at Powers, but using it actually on the Deuce side is even trickier.
Oh,
Mitchell is so fast.
that is just tremendous stuff by all players. And he turned it into an offensive shot. Oh, no!
Deuce.
Wow.
What a way for that to end. Incredible patience and control, then this insane flurry of action. There's a break point there saved with Mitchell's incredible gets.
Not only Mitchell moving up to cover that ball at the net, Brad, but how he recovered back, right? I mean,
Advantage, McNerney, Powers.
He got him.
and that's what I was just saying, is him hitting that hard ball to the Deuce side is all about getting out of the way. To the backhand side, that's a much easier ball to defend. And the reason I say that, Patty and Brad, is because on the Deuce side, you're not sure whether to go to your right or your left. On the ad side, you just let that ball go by you to your left, and it's a backside or a nick, and you got help anyways. But you're not worried about the ball to your right as much because that's an easy tomahawk forehand for righties.
Oh, wow.
Advantage, Durant, Mitchell.
Couple of great points. Randt bringing in that hard overhead, mixing up the paces.
Mitchell did not. He couldn't believe he hit it right to McNerney, right on top of the net.
Deuce.
That is the one trick about that drive, right? That's why I think teams should actually start to communicate more on that. Like if Durant just says line, because you don't know where your opponent is when you're hitting that turnaround drive there off the screen.
Patty and Brad, the other thing that McNerney's done, and Powers as well, they're refusing to get stuff.
No, he's working it now.
Yep. Was that a flamingo, Brad, or no?
I don't know. No,
Kind of a half.
yeah, half a flamingo, I guess. We'll give it a half. Power's doing he's really starting to get attacked in that corner more. He's mixing up, attacking it off the screen. Oh, good look from Powers there.
That's a tough one there, though, when they see that overhead is so good and the side back at that pace. You going into Powers' forehand where it's coming off the screen. I mean, Randt hitting a volley from his Mike Q is so difficult.
Yeah, they know where that safe spot is, so if they haven't had the ability to attack in the screen, Powers unloads a backhand that time.
Patty, can you go out in the game change and ask McNerney and Powers if they're going to play another 4-hour match?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We started this game.
I think that's a quantified question.
It's a fair point, Guy. You should know ahead of time, right? They could let us know.
I might say to McNerney and Powers, what do you mean?
Oh, look at that. That was an incredible fake by Powers. He'd been driving so much from the screen, and that time he sets up the drive, and he catches him closing, and he pops the lob up, which sets up the drive for McNerney. Unbelievable. All right, a break point here for Powers McNerney.
Well, we started this set, and we were 2 hours and 15 minutes into the match. Followed by their 4 hours. They're up to 6:15. I'm sure they're on the court, so about 6.5 hours so far today.
Yeah.
No need to look at the Apple Watch for steps today, Patty.
That's right. Do you guys still want me to run out there and talk to them after this first game?
About 150%.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe you even asked that.
Patty, you didn't hear Brad tell you about the shrimp quesadilla?
There you go.
So, Patty and Brad, all kidding aside, I mean, obviously everyone's completely invested in this game. Is the whole set going to go like this? Obviously, we don't have a read on future, but, I mean, they're both just unwilling to press, which makes these points as long as they are.
Yeah, if for what I'm looking at it, it's going this way, yes. I mean, McNerney's always in it for the long haul, and he's unlikely to start pressing at all, and the other guys are just invested. When you see Durant and Mitchell press, it's like when they're trying to create something here, but I think this stuff's become important, but he's really mixing his overhead so much more now, Durant. He brought out the hard one 2 or 3 more times, and just the threat of it there, he's brought out a couple of cutters.
Yeah, it just creates a little uncertainty, right? And it goes back to why I like him establishing the team with that shot, because hit it once, hit it twice, hit it 1.5 times, it's on your mind. Because you see someone step forward that can hit the ball that hard, you have to step back to give yourself time.
Well, we've seen Powers miss 2 screens in this game, and he really hasn't missed very many at all.
Exactly.
And you cannot discount the fact that the variety and the pace of the overheads have changed more.
And I still would like to see more of that hard roller in McNerney's direction. And guess what? If McNerney makes a good move on it, give the net up, you lose nothing. I mean, make him run. Make him not be able to stand back there and just lob the ball wherever he wants, which he's so good at. Every lob he hits has intention. Like there, you see both Durant and Mitchell go back. He's very good at creating.
He's got him. He's got him.
Game Durant Mitchell. They lead the third set 1-0.
Patty, while you go out there, we'll take it. We'll keep talking. You chat with those guys. But no, seriously, he's really working these overheads. And before, he wasn't even challenging him like that. Now he's completely challenging them in a different way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Evidently, I'm getting some text. I think Durant's giving our umpire Bliss a little bit of grief over that football call from the second set. And I guess he's been saying, have I been footballting? And asking the question.
No, he did. And the next game after, he was absolutely asking it. And, this is kind of like one of those things where, McEnroe played better when he gets angry. He poked the bear a little. I think it does add to his intensity. And it's good. I mean, it's good for him. He's channeled it into some better play right now.
Durant went as far as to say, are you going to surprise me with a football call?
Yeah.
These guys have known each other for a long time. Bliss calls it as he sees it, and that's credit to him. And because Derek Hughes told me it was the correct call, Durant's got to let it go.
Well, like I was saying, though, I think holding on to a little of that kind of fiery energy is maybe helping him. So maybe he doesn't want to let it go. Right?
Yep.
All right, a couple of laughs out there from the players there. I know they love. All right, so brand new ball here. They're hitting a couple of serves. They're ready to go here. A couple of good laughs from the players. I know Durant Mitchell loved playing against Powers. McNerney as well. Just the hands across. Powers tries to hit a flip volley around Randt. And he probably just forgot you cannot actually get it around Randt. So he flips out the paddle. 15 all here.
What's the best thing about Durant's game?
15 all.
I mean, there's 18 great things, but give me one.
I mean, it's just the ability to hit every shot, from a dink with a blitz behind it to an explosive forehand, and all with economical or zero motion. So he has no wasted motion. Even moving back to cover a screen, it allows him to play defensively on both sides of the court. Anytime you see somebody getting burned in the screens, he switches it up. He's the guy playing the defense over there. You need somebody to hit the hard overhead. He can do it. And it's all power and movement from economical position. So it's a multi-tool. It's not like just the forehand. Powers is getting baited into a couple of shots here, challenging him.
Do you play more to Mitchell right now, Brad? Don't you kind of feel like Durant is like having his say at this point in the match? Do they go after Mitchell more?
Maybe. I think they just have to kind of reestablish themselves. Good hold there.
That was a pretty quick game for a hold. 1-all third set. That's Johan Durant serving. It's Graham McNerney hitting the return. Stephen Mitchell, white T-shirt, Boston Pickle Club. To the left of our screen here, the back of him, and that's Mark Powers over in the ad court in the pink shirts and pink shorts. Brad, pretty soon you have to start your pre-Super Bowl warm-up routine, don't you? You have a series of calisthenics and things?
Patty, you know me too well. You're right about that. I have to sit on the couch, get up from the couch, sit back down on the couch, and don't forget about the quesadillas, which have to be made.
Yeah, I think Brad and Patty and Brad, good luck with the Super Bowl festivities. Have fun. Been great being with you. But this match comes down to energy and comes down to
15-30.
Mark Powers' forehand. The less forehands he hits, the better off Mitchell and Durant are, and the more forehands he hits, the more McNerney and Powers dictate the match. But And we were talking about that earlier too, Patty, Brad, that when Randt plays that ad side, he leans into the side screen so well and rarely goes inside out. He goes down the line so he's not exposed in his corner.
Oh,
Just like that.
Right, and McNerney knows the play, and just you just saw him
15,
kind of
40.
slide to his right, just getting his paddle set, just waiting for the ball to hit his paddle.
Interesting here too, you see Randt going with the overhead serve, which he's been predominantly using the sidearm topspin serve for the match and the tournament for that matter. Patty, I have a question for you.
Sure, Guy. What do you got?
If I said to you, Mark Powers is not going to hit one more laser forehand the rest of the match, who would you say is going to win the match?
Well, they won the first set because he hit it. If he doesn't hit
Right.
it, that's their biggest weapon. So I wouldn't see them winning it without that forehand playing a gigantic role here as this set goes on.
I could not agree with you more. But that's what happens. Like the second set, they took it off the court, and then all of a sudden it's back in play a little bit. But I mean, obviously Powers is so good; he creates ways to see it. But I thought Randt and Mitchell did a great job of pushing the ball deep to McNerney, even though McNerney's never really going to miss, but he's not going to hurt you as much.
Game McNerney Powers. They lead 2-1, third set.
It's just funny, Guy. You know, you feel the momentum, just subtle little things, and almost seemingly for no reason, the momentum changes a little bit. Just the energy
For
level,
sure.
you know, and I kind of felt that mentally Powers and McNerney were struggling a little bit kind of midway, late in that set, where I don't feel that now. I feel like sometimes when you get that set out of the way, even though they did lose it, now they know they're down to one set, and they're down to, what? How long could one set last? 2 hours? You know, they're down to you know, something that's kind of doable in terms of the time and what they're facing ahead, where I think sometimes late in that second set, you know, if you're struggling just a tiny bit mentally, you know, it reveals itself, and then you just need that third set to start, and then all of a sudden you're better.
Right, and that's what I was saying. I mean, the match to me, from what I've been watching with you and Brad, is it comes down to, I mean, some simple keys. I mean, the energy between Randt and Mitchell at the end of that second set was the energy that you want to see all the time from them, and in combination with them eliminating Powers' forehand, you know, that's the key to that success. That's why you see us set at 6-2. But, you know, McNerney and Powers, this is how they're going to play, and they're obviously very efficient at it. Not necessarily with time, but it's a tactic and strategy that suits them very well. And even going back to some of the new teams playing this year, you know, Jose Salazar and Alvi Regalado, they played the same way. I mean, they've slowed things down and changed it.
15 love.
Come on, go, go.
15 all.
And this is a spot in the match, Patty, that I think, and that's why I was going to say that I do think it
30,
favors
15.
for Durant and Mitchell to slow it down, because you get those kind of uncharacteristic errors piling up on you like that. You got to wait for the right time and choose the right time to really have the energy that was so successful at the end of that second set. And there you see
40,
it again.
15.
Yeah!
Game McNerney Powers. They lead 3 games to 1, third set.
And that's why I like that shot to that side. Let's see if that changes some things.
Right, and the last time that happened, when Johan had that shot, a really short lob, Graham went toward the corner, he went toward the right, and then he ran out of room. He's 6'4", there's nowhere to go in the corner. That time he sort of held his ground and just was hoping the ball moved over, but that's Durant. He just puts the ball on a dime whenever he wants to. And there was no way Graham could come up with that shot. I think you can't lob short. That's all it comes down to, Guy.
Yeah, I would be surprised if we don't see that more often right now. He'll wait for it, but
Okay, we talk about McNerney 6'4" in that deuce court. We talk about Powers over in that ad court. Mark's probably, what, 5'9"? I look up, almost a foot to Mark Powers, but just saying, is that why maybe Durant's hitting so many of these down-up overheads here today on a warm day? What do you think, Guy? Or did I just make that up?
I don't think you made it up. I just think that we talked about it earlier too, that Powers does have a really good backhand that he holds. So if it's like that, it's a great shot, because he knows Powers can't drive that because the ball's behind Mark Powers. If the ball comes off, even if he hits it medium pace or even softer than that, then Powers has the option whether, I like that ball. Yeah. He has the option whether to hold it or lob it. And your positioning starts to give you some trouble when you're not sure, because if you have any inclination the ball's going to be driven, you're going to be moving forward into the shot. And if it's a lob, then it makes you hit it off your back foot. So I will say I've never seen the flamingo from Durant as much as we're seeing today.
Yep. 30-15.
I do like that shot that Powers just missed, though. I mean, he was looking for it. And notice too, Patty, when those balls are being hit hard at Durant over there, that there's no miscommunication between Steven and Johan in terms of who's covering the middle. Randt is completely committed to the side wire without any worry of Mitchell being in the middle.
Need help. Fine, sorry. Good shot.
40-15.
Great neutralizing overhead. He was 3 feet behind the service line hitting that. But that overhead called back.
40-30.
Right, and you see Powers, his early prep, just let him hold that shot to the last second guy. You know, and I think he, you know, he first was looking up the middle and then, you know, went to the outside a little bit and forced the volley error.
Anytime there's trouble with a deep overhead like that, either one, let it bounce, or you have to go back to McNerney. Not because McNerney can't do something with it offensively, but it's not going to look like Powers hitting that ball the way he does. And McNerney, is in that lob mode. Looking to lob offensively.
Deuce.
So he's not going to jump on that as quick as Powers.
That's a huge point right there, guy. Wow, that was a really close serve.
It was, and I'm still thinking of the foot fault. I'm probably thinking about the foot fault more
Advantage,
than
Durant
Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Come on.
Game Durant Mitchell. McNerney Powers lead 3-2, third set.
Volley is the official sponsor of the APTA for the 23-24 season. Backed by cutting-edge technology, including its unique Vision software, Volley is the innovator of the first AI-enabled racket sports training that simulates point play. By enabling players and pros to record sessions on the court, Volley delivers off-the-court player analysis and support all from your phone. It takes only a couple minutes to sign up. Ask your pro about a Volley lesson today. For more information, visit volley.com.
Yeah, I tell you what, I hear more and more professionals talking about how great a piece of equipment and ball machine and AI that Volley is. So what a fantastic concept, and what a great sponsor.
No, it's the greatest tool for club level players, all players, top level players to get out and get the repetition they need, you know, to be confident when they go play tournaments. And I think it's such a clever device. I've had the opportunity to use it over at Beacon Hill a little bit. Canubrook's got them. A lot of the clubs have them, and what a great tool for improvement. Going to give a quick shout out up towards Glens Falls Country Club, Charlotte Gillette. Hi, Charlotte. Glad you're enjoying the play.
Love.
You. Me. Okay. You.
Okay, what percentage of the overheads in this match are hit over 20 miles an hour?
Well, you're talking about the last 8 hours?
Yeah, the last 8 hours is what I'm talking about.
Well, you know my feeling on that, but
Just okay. I'm gonna give you. You get one word answer, guy. What percent? Give me a number. Give me a number here. 90% of
Over.
overheads hit less than 20 miles an hour. Is it that high?
I think it's at least that high, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
I'm back.
Think about the long points when you're talking about 150 ball, 200 ball point. I mean, it's got to be there, right?
Yep. I just think it's an interesting thing as people are watching and they're wondering, how come these guys don't hit the overhead harder? Because in this weather, these guys are so good. These are the game's best. They can get anything. So you've got to keep them pinned back behind that baseline. You see the court's blue and green. You got to keep them back in the green behind the baseline. All these players are super dangerous when they get a ball that comes toward the court, toward the net.
Okay, buddy.
And that's a very rare miss by McNerney on that. Otherwise, it's overhead. And Patty, what you're starting to see
40-15.
Certainly this match, and just in general, you're starting to see
You. Watch him.
teams during the course of a point knowing exactly when to speed it up and exactly when to slow it down.
You've got. You.
That's why they're the best in the game.
You.
McNerney does that so well.
Me. You.
And the reason he does that well too, Patty, is because he's watching not only the ball, but he's watching the preparation from his opponent hitting the ball. Is their paddle high? Is it low?
40-30.
Okay, great point. Let's go. Hit. You.
Mitchell and Durant switch here, Patty.
Yes.
1,
3.
2,
Help.
3, 4, 5,
Go.
6,
You.
7. What's the cutoff before I stop counting?
I don't think Mitchell wants to go. I feel like Durant does.
I do too, actually.
Go. Me. Yep. You.
But I also don't, man. I don't mind Durant crowding the middle like this. Look where he's standing. He's,
You. You.
I mean, he's across the hash, which he's familiar with playing.
Me. You. Got it. Me. Up. Yep. Well up. Thanks. Go.
Little bit of an
Deuce.
off speed shot. Power's just a tiny bit in front of it. Missed the volley.
Yeah, that's a risky shot from Mitchell. He's so fast. But
You.
again, let's see
You.
for a match
You.
what type of transition we have.
Okay. Good. You. 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 You.
Is the big one coming at Graham, Patty, or no?
Kind of
You
starting
know,
to feel
man.
that way.
You knew I was going to ask that.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a perfect time to hit it, it would be with the right opportunity now. 40 love, 3-2 in the third.
Is it Deuce Guy?
It is okay. Yes. Even more of a perfect time to hit it.
Advantage Durant Mitchell.
And I like that play from Mitchell. I mean, obviously, Powers great serve, but just lobbing that ball back to guarantee that they 100% get into the point.
Help. I got you. Go. Yes, Mark. Thank you.
Deuce.
Straight overhead. I got you. You.
Based on that last point, Powers McNerney switch out.
Oh my God!
Good pressure from McNerney
Advantage
there.
McNerney Powers. Deuce.
That ball hit McNerney.
I think so.
Yeah.
Guy, we are at the 2 hour and 45 minute mark in
Wow.
this final.
Advantage Durant Mitchell.
It's even amazing the momentum shifts within games in this match, right, Patty?
Mm-hmm.
Like what just happened there the last 3 points.
I got you.
Yeah, you kind of felt it from McNerney and Powers, and then all of a sudden, a couple shots later, now you're feeling, you know, more Durant Mitchell.
Yep. Help.
That's actually a great overhead by Powers to go all the way back across the court.
And he could do it because he had his 6'4" partner right on top of that net who can cover everything.
Bit risky, but from
Not risky because he's playing with McNerney.
exactly.
What a shot right there. Snuck that in, just hit the crease, came out.
Yeah, I feel like Powers is really starting to light it up. I mean, it's obvious with that spin overhead, but why not let him hit more?
Advantage Durant Mitchell.
Guy, I think we should just have a tiebreaker in the third set.
But you
It
mean
just
right
seems
now?
only fitting. Not right now. I think we'll wait a little bit. But in a way, you kind of want it to come down to that at this point.
Help. Help.
Or at 6 o'clock, whenever we really have to go get ready for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, these guys might be playing all by themselves.
Help.
I tell you what, a credit to McNerney and Powers. I mean, playing a 4-hour match, semifinal match, and battling another 3 hours out here. I mean, that's certainly worth noting.
Deuce. Advantage Durant Mitchell.
More of that from Durant Mitchell, Patty?
I think so.
Yeah.
Deuce.
Watch it.
Advantage McNerney Powers.
Yeah, Durant knew exactly what Powers was going to do. Powers has that real early prep, and he was just setting up, and Durant had a fix on that shot, just didn't quite get over there.
You help. I got you. Go. Watch it. I got it. Yep.
It's picking up a little pace here. God, you love it for Randt Mitchell.
Go.
I do, and I like where Mitchell and Durant are lobbing the balls too. Right,
Okay.
exactly, just like that, right to the left of McNerney, making him step to his left to hit the ball. Even though he's really good at hitting that down up overhead there.
Advantage McNerney Powers.
Powers is lucky. It
Well,
wasn't his finest overhead there. Durant couldn't
Take-
believe he got it.
Yeah, take advantage of those freebies, especially at this stage of the day match.
Game McNerney Powers. They lead 4 games to 2, third set.
That looked awkward. Mitchell had made him move in. He got caught, ball at his feet. Looked like he tweaked something.
Yeah, he slipped a little.
Game McNerney Powers. First one. No, just the one switch. Does them all.
All right, we're under the lights. Jerry Albright thinks this is the best NFL pregame show he's ever seen.
I hope Mitchell's okay. He looks like he
Yeah.
did
yeah.
tweak his leg a little bit.
That's all Durant needs to hear. He loves it where he gets to go and move more.
Love 15.
Kind of a shocking overhead error right there from Durant.
This is where Durant and Mitchell got to be really careful because
They do. The
This
pace
is
of play has sped up, Guy. To your point, that's what you'd like to see, Randt Mitchell, but it's so dangerous because it just can turn on a dime.
yeah, but it's in a good and bad way, right? If they're dictating that, it's one thing. If they're not, it's another thing. But you know,
I think it's all situational, Guy. I think that's the thing. You have to manage your way through these matches, and as they get more and more difficult deeper in the match, you know, there's going to be a ton of tactical adjustments. And I always think, you know, the success comes, you know, it's the last person who made the adjustment in the match. Oftentimes, it's like an NFL game when you know some of those games. You think about some of the playoff games with Kansas City, Buffalo. It's like who's got the ball last? Whoever's got that last wave of momentum somehow, you know, crosses the finish line, pulls it out. Because there's very little separation from these two teams here, obviously.
yeah, and you're seeing even within the course of this point, both McNerney and Powers got their 2 looks. I mean, the point's still going on, obviously, but McNerney, that side back, big tomahawk overhead he likes, and then Powers with his forehand in the middle. So they're getting the looks they want. I don't know if I've seen Powers like to come in as much as he is here right now. He's feeling good.
Yeah, he's got such great hands, and he just picks up those balls on the, you know, one bounce off the deck and just controls his shot, can spot a ball anywhere. I love the swing from McNerney right there.
Yeah, that's his shot. That's the one he. It's funny too. He could lob 500 balls and then always be ready for that.
And that's huge, you know, with his reach. He's 6'4", you know.
Love 30.
That ball would get out of most people's comfort zone where that's where McNerney likes it. He's not an inside hitter where the ball comes toward Mark Powers. He loves that inside-out swing. With McNerney, he loves that long-reaching type of shot.
Help! Yep. Wait. Wait. You got that. You got that. You. You. Me.
I tell you what, Patty, McNerney and Powers just doing a great job of controlling the tempo here. I mean, just
Yep, and McNerney, you know, I
Club
could
40.
just, you know, he had that forehand and he was feeling it, and I was thinking to myself, you know, right now this is going into him, and you know, I wasn't surprised at all by his move in there, his blitz, and he comes in, he's so comfortable on top of that net, just keeps his paddle so still in the volley, just textbook.
notice too with McNerney when he's blitzing and closing in like that, the window he's looking in the volley is the window that matters the most.
Game McNerney Powers. They lead 5 games to 2, third set.
In other words, he never flags a volley. He never plays a volley that's going out. He's always got his paddle in the area where he's going to get hurt the most.
Yeah, McNerney sets up. He's so tall on top of the net, sets up low. That's why we talked about it a little earlier, where the appropriate shot at times is to come up a little high on him. Nowhere near his head, of course, but just come up and into his chest a little bit with a drive occasionally, because he does set up super low on top of the net, takes away, you know, that really good drive, you know, from every opponent seemingly. Ray Crostas, shout out to Ray up at Indian Trail Club. He thinks McNerney's paddle IQ is as high as anyone he's ever seen in the game.
Watch your time, boys.
Sorry, just bleeding.
Here we are heading for 3 hours. Mark Bliss is reminding these guys to watch their time on the changeover here.
Injury timeout.
You'd think he'd cut him a little slack.
No, it's my fault.
I mean,
I didn't realize.
He's a rules follower.
he sure is.
Are we at 3 hours yet in this match, Jake, our producer?
Aussie mark? Yep.
15 love.
Show me you. I'll be here. Okay.
So McNerney trying to serve this out here.
Help me. Yeah. Buddy.
And you got to remember too, McNerney and Juan Araya, played these guys in Chicago, and kind of honestly a similar match.
Go ahead. Yep. Mark.
McNerney has the heartbeat of what's going on here. So
You.
15 all.
15 all guy, I gotta ask, someone needs to know your hometown. Where were you born?
I was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Aha.
Help. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Help. Yeah.
Explains a lot.
I got you. Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad to give explanations.
I got you. Help. Hit. Help.
Shout out to David Chelston up in Maine, enjoying watching this. Disappointed he couldn't travel down here, but we're hoping David's on the mend, and we hope to see him at Boston Nationals.
Big Dave, always
Yep.
love seeing you, talking to you. Hope you're well.
Help. Got it. Got it.
Thanks to Master for their support of Short Hills Invitational, along with Junior Tour. Supply the balls all throughout the season for Junior Nationals. Great ball sponsor for Team Nationals.
Come on.
David's always been real generous to help promote
30,
the game
15.
and help everyone who runs these events for the sport to, you know, help make it a little easier in tournament directors by being the ball sponsor.
Well,
Because then they can spend their money on other things, like
30
really
all.
fun parties, guy.
Looked like Short Hills had a really nice one last evening or yesterday afternoon, right?
Always.
Got it.
Great setup, great hospitality here.
Got it.
Incredible organization.
Got it. Yep. Gotta help me. Yep. Got it. Yep.
40-30.
So here we are, match point, Patty, after 3 hours plus.
You.
Gosh, McNerney just all over. He's feeling it. Drop shot in Durant. And there you have it.
Set.
What a match, Guy Moore.
2024 Short Hills Invitational title. McNerney Powers, they win. 7-5, 2-6, 6-2.
Guy, I'm going to go ask Johan what he thought about that footfall call. No, only kidding, Guy. I will talk to you on the return. I'm going to go out for the trophy presentation.
Sounds great, Patty. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Vera Bisanova. I'm the head pro from Short Hills Club in New Jersey, and today I have a tip on driving for you. Quite often I see players staying open with the weight on the back of their feet, which makes them be off balance. But if you can turn sideways, now you can bring your power forward with you on the drive. I'm Vera Bisanova. Hope this helps you with your drives, and good luck.
At Corient, we believe wealth management begins and ends with you. Because the more personal the solution, the more powerful it is. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build and provide unlimited access to the collective and profound knowledge of experts across the country. It's time your wealth strategy was as sophisticated as you. It's time to join Corient.
Hello, this is John Weinlater with Volley, and we're here at the Philly Open having a great time. So exciting to be out here at the second Grand Prix event and seeing all the momentum that's being gathered this season. It's been great being a partner with the APTA, and we've been excited with all the momentum with Volley as well. And we're about ready to hit our 500,000th ball right now on all the trainers. So it's pretty exciting that people are finding the product and talking about it. To keep track of all the new stuff going on with Volley, follow us on social or visit our website, getvolley.com. Thank you.
Good to see you. I'm sorry, guys. Oh no, that's we both get one. Okay, we're good to go. Yep. Go for it, Patty.
Hey, what a remarkable match. What an amazing win here for the newly formed team of Graham McNerney and Mark Powers. Mark, it's great to have you back. You guys just played an outstanding tournament here. 4-hour semifinal win, and we'll get Brian Skinner, our tournament director, in here. But just an incredible display. The game's greatest players. Amazing. You prevented Durant and Mitchell from a repeat. They won here last year in Short Hills. And you guys, I have to say, that was just remarkable. What a treat. Mark, I'm going to start with you. You haven't played a lot this year. How did you do it here?
Graham was quite patient with.
I'll hold on to it. You hold on. You hold on to that trophy. You're number one.
No, Graham was quite patient with me early in the tournament, and he kept saying swing away, and he knew I had some rust to get off. But it was a blast playing with Graham. We really complimented each other well this weekend, and yeah, I'm just happy to be playing tournaments again. Happy to be back and seen. So. Yeah.
That was great. And Graham, I mean, you are the warrior. You play more tournaments with different guys. Some people say you're the ultimate role player. I'm going to disagree. You're an outstanding player. You do everything, Graham, and you bring out the best in your partner. And everybody can say, oh, sure, Graham comes out with Mark Powers. but he brings out the best in Mark Powers. He brings out the best in every player. Grant, just outstanding performance. Congratulations.
To watch those volleys, I mean, it speaks for itself.
No, I mean, I think there's nothing better in the world for me than playing with new guys and growing confidence throughout the day and learning how to play with each other. So I felt like we got better every single set we played. And by the end, we were talking about how confident we were in each other, that I knew when the big moments came, he was going to swing, and he knew when the big moments came, I was going to lock it down and make him get those looks. So there's nothing better for me competing like that with a great guy like Mark and having a lot of fun. That was awesome.
Congratulations, guys, and real quick shout out to Brian Skinner, our tournament director.
Thank you.
Over 460 players this weekend, 7 events. Brian did it all. Congrats to Brian and all the Short Hills Club.
Thank you. Great job, guys.
We'll see you in Indianapolis.
Stand right there for a photo quick. Then you
Okay.
You get another smile, then you can run.
Can you give me a stool? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Ready for a whole new training experience? Welcome to Volley. At Volley, we've developed the first AI training system for racket sports, providing pros with the advanced teaching tools they've been waiting for, and giving players a new way to level up their game and enhance their time on the court. Ask your pro about a volley lesson today and learn what Volley can do for you. We'll see you on the court.
My name is Gabriel Friedrich. I am from Florianópolis, Brazil, beautiful island south of Brazil. I played college tennis at University of South Carolina. I'm currently working at Weyburn Country Club. I live with Chris Humphreys my first summer here. He got really into it. Chris Hayes took us off to the court first few times. Absolutely hated it. Got the bug after about like 6-7 months. Then Jens was moving to this area, and I was like, why don't we give this a try? We started playing summer paddle 3 summers ago. Luckily, we were on a great team that we won the summer league, and that's how we got started, playing every Tuesday throughout the summer. First match on stream, playing 2 former national champions in Chicago. Me and Nancy were ready for the match, and we played the best match we played so far in our paddle careers. I'm more of a deuce side guy. Me and Nancy switched sides through in the middle of the second, and Juan gave me a backhand. It's a shot that I'm working on, and I was able to rip one down to his feet for the break, and that set us up for the third set. I think that was my favorite shot of the match. So Yancy he's my partner. We went to college together. I'm a class above him, so I was there through his recruiting visits. I was there through his first weekends in college. You know, we played doubles together my junior year, his sophomore year. We made a very good team. We made 2 NCAAs doubles. We made to the second round, and yeah, that's Yancy. I think the first goal we'll have for this season will be try to lift a trophy. We've got close last year. We made it to our first finals. Unfortunately, we lost to a very good team of John Hughes and Mark Powers in the finals. So I think a goal will be get a trophy, and everything else comes together. So win a tournament and maybe get into the top 5 of the rankings. My name is Gabriel Friedrich, and this is the APTA Tour.